All right. I'm going to unmute for them.
There, he's just chatting away.
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry, I was just getting things sorted in my head. Hi, good to see you all. It feels like we haven't played in ages because it's been a week off.
It really does.
Oh yeah.
But,
Ages and eons.
Yeah, it feels like it's been a while. But we are back, episode 8. So welcome back, everyone. Tomorrow is here. Its camera's not working currently, so
yeah, I just bought a Logitech C920, baby.
Nice, the classic.
Woo!
I took the dive.
Was that what you were using
Get a
before?
backup.
No, I had a really high quality 4K webcam USB thing that for some reason, dude, I was just saying, I've been having some weird feedback on like my computer and shit for a while, and like at one point it fucking burned out one of my whole PC towers.
Oh,
and I'm thinking I'm just getting like electrical problems going through like my USBs and shit.
Oh my
Because I've had like weird shit where my entire mixer has like blasted my audio with like feedback, despite the fact that like it shouldn't be. Started to have some weird electrical problem in my office.
I hate tech issues so much. They're so stressful. You're like, I have no idea what's going on. Okay, I'm going to unplug this one and see. I'm going to like,
And it's also with streamer tech issues, it's always like, this thing has worked for like the last 6 months, no problem, never fails, turn PC on one day.
Change anything.
Yeah.
And suddenly.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Explosions.
It comes out of nowhere. Tech issues like that. Well,
cool.
There's no problem at all, dude. Welcome in, everyone.
Oh,
Good
it's
to
a
see you all. Has anyone got anything they want to shout out before we get started? Sorry, I was just getting all the music mixed on here.
No.
No.
Do you have something you'd like to shout out, Joe? No one ever asks
No.
you.
Yeah, Joe.
No.
There must be something. Come on. Something you want to shout out. Something you want to tell the world about. Share.
Make something up.
Nothing interesting's ever happened to me, ever.
That's true.
This is the highlight of my week.
I'm telling the Godforge group.
I was going to say,
I'd go for it. I'm going to tell them the same thing. Well, if there's nothing to shout out, does anyone want to read the recap so we can play some Dungeons and Dragons?
Who's gonna do
If y'all let me do it, it's not going to be a good voice, so someone else should pick.
I can do it if you want.
There we go.
Let's go, Mark.
it? He's just gonna pick a bad voice.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like it.
That's fine. I mean, yeah, I can do it if nobody else wants to.
Go for it.
Do it, Mark.
Sure. Last we left off, we ventured towards Grendel's lair and lured out the creature with insults. Ripping off most of its arms and finishing off what Beowulf never could, we slew the terror of Herot. Inside of Grendel's waterfall lair, we found Brulder's belongings and a note from King Hrothgar promising him land, along with a tooth vial containing Aeterdrop. On the wall, a skeletal trophy totem awoke and threatened to find those who killed its son. Bum, bum, bum.
Are still in that cave. The totem collapses, going into its inanimate stage once more, leaving you to your own devices. You're still in the full portion after the water, so you're kind of up on the
I did say before the stream that I like to look back at my notes and see what the last thing that I wrote on a given day was, and it was body on wall turned head. And then you have that moment of like, wait, what? Why did you write that? Oh yeah, the body on the wall. That's right.
Yeah.
There was also not meant, but the voice on the thing on the wall, the sort of gruesome totem, sort of was talking like Grendel had done something to like infect the land or something as well. There was like lots of talk of like, you did it. Yeah. The Fen's corruption is complete. It will continue to rot. Monsters will come. That sort of language, but we don't know what Grendel did. We just know it's done something to like muck up this land.
To make his mom very proud.
And then we found this note which seems to, and we did some checks, didn't we? And we're pretty confident that it was written by King Hrothgar.
Yes.
Most likely by King Hrothgar, promising Balder land in exchange for some sort of service or thing provided. And we found the Aeterdrop.
Exactly.
Just checking in.
Cool. Good details to add in. You saw that the hand was kind of wavy and that of a kind of an elderly man who Probably doesn't have as much of a grip that he used to have, and but still a kind of refined calligraphy that comes with his station.
Yeah. And it was promised that the note mentioned specifically a Mesogaian victory as well. That was like
It does
another
indeed.
like weird thing which we were like, what the hell?
It did indeed.
Can
Cool.
I have just completed my
yeah, you were sitting in a
ritual
pile of
casting of detect magic?
You can. You feel no magical transmutation spells or enchantment spells in the vicinity around you. But you get this deep kind of emanating almost like a brownish, blackish kind of ooze down below you, like this kind of light emanating deep underneath the ground. Almost like a heartbeat. You feel go, and the light spreads out, and it fades back in. Like there's necrotic magic deep below the ground where you are currently, and it's almost pulsating outwards, like blood going through veins.
Like a corruption?
Not good.
Like a corruption.
Directly below where, like, in this chamber, basically, is Brizzy feeling that.
Essentially, yeah, beneath the roof of stonework.
Probably further than that.
And the thing on the wall is not talking anymore.
No, it went inanimate.
I'm gonna poke it, just in case.
Should we break this?
It seems
probably.
like
That
It's
was a
talking
discussion I
through
remember
it.
us having last time. Do we break it or
Yeah.
not? I remember that being something that we spoke about just moments ago.
yes, 3 seconds ago. we keep
3,
saying
4
that.
seconds, perhaps. It feels like weeks.
I don't like the idea of leaving it in case some idiot comes in and it's like, hello, make the fens even creepier, and some idiot does it. But I also don't think that it will. It's not going to do much, right? But I
Right.
don't think we should leave it. It seems,
But maybe just to make a
Irresponsible.
point,
yeah.
you know.
It seems to sense us. It seems to have known that we've done something.
Right, we were considering not harming it to avoid flagging that we have defeated Grendel, but now that
Just said
they have
hello.
clearly already noticed us, I say
think we
fuck
just-
this thing.
Yeah, let's break it or something, yes?
I'm gonna just swing my torch at it. Is it lit? If it's lit right now, it's not actual fire, but I'm just gonna swing and smash it.
Yeah, you smash against it. You see the kind of fire wave over it, and as your mace clashes against it, you see the bones are brittle, the flesh is kind of weathered. It easily kind of collapses off of the wall. You kind of just break straight through it.
I spit on it. Well, I feel a dark, necrotic corruption beneath this grounds. I assume the corruption that Grendel's parent was speaking of. I don't know if we could go, if that is the source of it, spreading deep throughout the fen, if we can go down, find it, and cure it, end it, or if it's just too late.
Does it look like Grendel like dug here or anything? Does it look like the earth has been disturbed, like a creature was digging?
Roll an
here?
investigation check.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, investigation.
I believe in
not
you. No, I believe in you.
Perception?
Because you're specifically searching for any digging marks
With my
and whatnot.
eyes.
I love the bargaining between that every time.
Okay. Yeah, I'll let you do perception. Sure.
Yes. What do we get there? Oh, 9. So my bargaining was for naught, regardless.
You search around, find very little in the way of dig marks. If he has been digging there, at the very least, it's not obvious.
Well, yeah, it's been like covered up or something like that. Well, unless we intend to dig to get whatever you could sense, and I don't have any shovels or tools to do any mass excavating. I'm not sure if there's anything we can do, unless it's perhaps there was something in the water that we missed, another tunnel or chamber perhaps, but I don't remember seeing anything on the way here.
Eldred, does it seem like it's starting? I mean, obviously underground, right? But from here, or it's just like you just sense, do you know what I mean? Like maybe it started somewhere else and it's growing out. I mean, we'd still have to look for a tunnel or something.
Through here. So it doesn't necessarily mean it starts here. It just means that whatever is going through is passing through this place.
I mean,
well, it's good to know.
First of all, it smells terrible in here, and I don't want to spend much more time in here. It's disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I don't want we just go back to Herot. Well, we get through. We go back to Herot, and along the way, we can look for caves and tunnels. And then if we find one, we can. I don't know. I don't have a shovel. I didn't know we would need to dig. I'm not prepared for that.
It could be in water.
Or it could be in water too. I guess when on our way out we can take a look. See what we see.
Yes.
Will it be in Draven? Anything? Any thoughts?
I've seen all I can see here.
Okay.
We could just burn the cave. Burn
Also,
it down.
we could do that.
That's a concern.
Burning down caves is not very easy.
Well, it would burn everything in, I guess.
Or
I kind of thought maybe like a monster would have more, stuff. It's all just
break the
refuse.
ceiling, cause a cave in, and then
That's
no
true.
one will find it, assumedly.
Also true. We could do that. Do you want to do it here or get out under the water and then?
Maybe we get out of the cave first.
Yeah, no,
I'm
I
a big
don't
fan
mean
of
do it
getting out
now,
of the
without
disgusting,
in-
creepy cave.
Yeah.
We also need to
really bad.
think about how we want to handle things back in Herot, but I think we can do that once we're out of this particular
We
cave.
also need to collect Grendel blood if we want to cash out on any more favors from Spring.
We have plenty.
Oh, that's very true.
Should we bring okay, hold on
I'd
before we
forgotten
walk
about
out.
that.
Do we need to if we take each arm, will we get paid for each arm? Because the two baby arms should count, even though they came off at the same time. They should count.
Draven narrows his eyes. I don't know if y'all remember, but he tied them up with his rope as soon as we finished. Left it with Rude.
Are they going to do you know what I mean? What if he's like, oh, you left one arm on the Grendel, and
I think that. Well, I think that based on
cut it off now.
Based on the note that we found, I don't know if King Hrothgar is going to be much in a position to pay us if we reveal what they were up to.
Well, the trick is we get paid first, and then we reveal once we've gotten our pay.
Very true. Okay. You are much more experienced mercenaries than me. Very well noted. Get paid first. I understand.
Always get paid. Oh, Juno.
Yeah, I don't.
Paid first.
Philosophers don't tend to get paid much at all, to be honest, Elena.
How do you pay to? How do you live like that without?
Well, you just live in the academia. It's they have quarters and you have meals provided. It's very nice.
It's a very sheltered lifestyle.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's one of the reasons that I wanted to leave. I was actually one of the few students who wasn't even raised there. I grew up with my parents and had come there, and so I was at least even a little world experience. But most of them studying, they never leave. They just sit there and read scrolls and books and learn.
I think all the time. But I'm thinking right now. I don't know how. No offense, but you know what I mean. Everybody's thinking all the time. It's not that. Yeah.
So
less cave. Let's talk out of cave.
Let's go.
Back into the water.
Yeah, that's the bit I want to get out of the way. I'm not, even with Draven's spell, I'm still not keen on the idea.
You know what? I want to take the head of the weird person on the wall.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like a big. Was it like a bird skull or something? I can't remember. Or was it
no,
like a
it
human
was
skull?
There was bird wings that had been attached.
Yeah,
up
it was
to
a
the
people
arms,
face with like
but it was
bird feet and shit.
Just a
Yeah.
person's face. Yeah. Mostly rotten away.
Yep, I'm gonna take the head.
Go for it. Yeah. It easily comes off the wall. It's kind of just been like pinned there with like kind of just general rock and kind of any nail he could get his hands on.
Beautiful. Got it. And then through the water.
Okay.
All right.
You dip back into the murky red water with the floating skulls and bones and swim through to the other side. Now you know the distance. It feels shorter on the way out than it did on the way in, as you can kind of gauge it. And
I'll scope a little to see if I see like another tunnel or something, like, you know, like if there was another way we could have gone in the water.
Have you got dark vision?
I don't remember.
Oh,
Probably
I have
not.
my torch.
Yeah,
lit.
My
You have
character's
your
also
torch.
glowing right now.
Yes,
That's
yes.
true.
Oh yeah,
Water.
Willoughby's always.
Then in
I
that
just
case,
move. I'm like, I float Willoughby to the side.
What are you doing?
I'm just
Unhand me.
checking to see if there's a just move a little to the right.
you go ahead and roll an investigation check.
Okay.
Can I roll since she's moving?
21.
Yeah, you can. You can also rather roll that, or you can roll to resist being moved, and I'll give her disadvantage.
While they're rolling that, I have a good question about Willoughby. Does Willoughby float?
Oh, shit.
He's made of wood, right? Like, would he naturally float if he wasn't trying
I
to
think
swim?
there's kind of like the roots of his feet kind of have him grip the ground, but if he wasn't gripping the bottom of a water,
He would be like
Uh-huh.
a raft.
It's like that
He
feeling when
would
you're
float.
trying to keep yourself from being buoyant underwater, right?
Yeah.
And you keep getting pushed upwards, but your feet are digging in.
I want to note that because like Juno's literally would absolutely note that and be like, if in case of emergency, Willoughby
grab him.
floats.
He's your life preserver.
It makes sense, driftwood. With your 21 and a 22.
21's yeah, mine's 21 as well. Shouldn't have gotten this.
You kind of drift over and you're saying like, hey, get a hold of me. And then you both look and you notice there's a crack in the wall, only about 2.5 inches thick. And you can see almost kind of this murky water coming in from there. A bit darker, a bit more kind of thicker, mud-like. And it seems to almost keep passing through the water system, causing the water to kind of become a lot more tainted.
Oh. Does it look like there's any way to get into that area?
It's very, very tight. It's like 2.5 inches thick. It's probably about 20 inches kind of lengthwise height.
Would a fish be able to fit into a hole like that?
A fish could fit.
I'm going to regret this, but I'm going in. And
Okay.
I like to imagine all of you are making those bubble sounds, but Willoughby is able to
Just
communicate
talking.
perfectly fine underwater. I'm gonna wild shape and go into that crack and see if there's anything else in there.
Okay. Wild chipping into a fish. Any particular fish? You got a favorite?
I think it's the kind of fish that you'd see in a weird fucking lake, a disgusting
Yeah.
swamp
Okay,
kind
like-
of environment.
You
like
take a
one
fish.
deformed fin.
You would
You can
pass
only
in
swim in
there,
circles.
and it's dark. And you swim against this kind of, it's not necessarily a current. It's almost a very kind of soft, just kind of stream that's passing against you. So I guess it is a current, but it's not necessarily caused by a river. And you swim against it, and you're wrapping around. You hit against your fins against the sides of the stone, and you keep swimming. It's uncomfortable. In your gills, I don't know how long you've spent as a fish before, but there's a feeling of every time you're kind of breathing and pushing out any water, there's something sludgy and kind of a little bit unnatural. It's kind of layering itself in your gills. And when you swim out, you see another opening. You pass through it, and come into a larger body of water. How much dark vision does a fish have? I imagine.
The
Just
wonderful
happened to pick a
questions of
fish with dark
D&D.
vision.
Yeah.
See, here's
Easily
the thing,
120
Joe,
feet.
and this is actually
easily.
interesting. Story form doesn't say anything about me not being able to wild shape while I'm in story form.
Starfish.
So
It doesn't stop it.
it doesn't say that it stops it. It doesn't.
Wait, fish
It ends early if you
60 feet of
dismiss
dark
it,
vision?
are incapacitated, die, or use this feature again. I'm not using this feature again. I'm using wild shape.
I'm also checking on D&D Beyond, and most of the fish that I have found
60
all
feet
have 60 feet of
vision.
dark
Yeah,
vision.
I just
Makes sense.
looked.
Do you know what?
Quippers and knucklehead trout all have 60 feet of dark vision.
It makes sense that you'd be able to see in the dark in the water.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
why not?
Well, glowing as well,
No.
and passing through, almost like a kind of an anglerfish if your light was on the inside of yourself. You
Oh.
gaze down, and I won't need you to do a check because you can see in this body of water, and it isn't far from the cave. In fact, well, you could make an intelligence check, but it would be as the fish. No, sorry, it wouldn't be. You're a druid. You're a druid. Sorry, I've dealt with too much polymorph recently. Yes, no, you can make an intelligence check.
Flat
Um,
intelligence.
That or wisdom, whatever you prefer.
Okay, wisdom or intelligence both benefit from my constellation still, so that will be a 15, not 11.
Excuse me.
You work out, yes, you kind of made some turns and passed through some crevices and cracks. The water body you're in right now is the same kind of pond that was located right outside the waterfall, where that was kind of pouring into. And so you haven't gone far, but you see that it's pretty deep. And as you've come out, you notice that the water has been infected by this sludge coming from the bottom. And there, right at the bottom of this pond, weighed down with chains, is a large heart. It's black and pumping out sludge. And that gets carried up into the water supply. The water here feels warm. As it just keeps pumping it out. Almost like coagulated blood. being pushed
Okay.
out.
Blood of the Grendel.
And there is no other way out of this current place I'm in than through the way I came.
No, you're in the pond outside the waterfall.
So you can
Um,
go
Oh,
up
I'm
into
outside.
outside the cave.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I were to cease my wild shape, I would be able to
Swim
walk
up.
to safety.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to leave wild shape then. In the pond here, and navigate myself back to the shore. I have nothing to actually deal with this right now. I am completely tapped of all my resources. Wilby's not a total buffoon. He's gonna. Actually, the last thing I do is get as close to as I can and try to decipher what this is, but I'm not going to touch it.
Okay.
I just want to get near it and try to figure out the nature of this thing.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll a. I'm going to say a wisdom check or intelligence. Intelligence might kind of apply any knowledge you might have of monsters. It might apply any knowledge you have of creatures that have interacted with the gods. Wisdom would apply the shape of the heart, the kind of medicine. You can do a medicine check if you prefer. The shape of the heart, how many valves it's got, what kind of creature this might attach to.
I'll medicine for this because, you know.
Okay.
That's a 19.
You have spent enough time around humans. You were a human once, and you've probably been around some pretty gratuitous affairs of violence. This heart resembles that of a humanoid, but it's larger, the size of probably someone's entire torso. It is but by all accounts, it looks like a human's heart. And each of the arteries is pumping out this sludge. It seems to be living. Chained so it doesn't float to the top. It's weirdly uncanny towards a human's heart.
Okay. Willoughby's too careful of a person to fuck with this thing without letting the rest of the group know. So he's going to double back at this point back to the shore and wait for everyone else to come out of the cave.
When you come out the shore, you changing back into your normal form?
I left my fish form
when you went down.
When I tried to investigate it, but I would still be glowing a little bit when I emerge out of the water.
I'm waiting by the crack.
Okay.
As long as I can hold my breath
I think
to
at this
see if he
point,
comes back.
yeah.
Yeah, Willoughby would not be returning that way.
I think Lena would be right next to the crack, and she'd say, because she can talk underwater fine. If you can't, if you're having trouble, go. I can wait. It's okay.
Juno makes like raises an eyebrow, like, and then we'll swim to like out the cave.
Go up to catch my breath.
Yeah, you guys.
Okay, she definitely doesn't need to breathe.
Draven, where are you?
Draven would have not stopped when Willoughby went through the crack because his arms are waiting outside, and these people are weird.
His
Fair.
arms.
Yeah.
We're the weird ones.
Joe,
Yes, you all are staying down in weird sludge water, going through cracks without communicating, and we just killed a monster. And it's look, y'all know I eat it. Draven's 100% with y'all. Y'all are the ones with secrets.
When has Willoughby not been 100% with
You don't
everyone?
count. You're not technically even.
I don't have secrets.
How
When do I
dare
have
you?
secrets? Y'all are the weird ones. Anyway.
Do we see him if we go up to and catch our breath?
If you go out to catch your breath, you'd have to leave the cave still. Because this is the pool of water deeper into the cave that's kind of in a flooded tunnel.
Yeah. I guess to the end and get breath.
If you got out, you'd have to leave out of the actual cave itself, go under the waterfall again, and go outside if you wanted to see him. So he's outside by this point.
Oh, well, not doing that.
I want to be clear as Willoughby that he has a 6 in charisma and has 0 fucking comprehension that you guys wouldn't just assume he's going to be at the front of the, like he would have just found a way to get back to you guys. So he's not looking for you. He's like, where the hell are they?
Don't understand. Why would it's not like they would wait for me to come back as a fish.
I assumed
They can't breathe
they'd
underwater.
know I'd find my way out. I'm a creature. Of course I'd find my way out.
You, Willoughby, by the way, and Draven, as you pass under the waterfall, as you've kind of swam to the surface and kind of gone to the shore, you can see over where Thrud is, sat on her hammer, near all of the pile of arms. The dead Grendel, mostly deflated now. Its skin kind of just laid almost like a bowl. You see closing on it about 5 or 6 people with nets and spears, all kind of sat around talking to her, a little bit away from her, a good like 15 feet of distance, kind of calling over to her. And she's just kind of scraping an apple and biting it, not caring about the grubbiness of her fingers and any of the blood that might be on them. She's just talking to them individually. And you can see it's a group of kind of bounty hunters have gathered, asking questions about it. They haven't seen you yet, as it's a little bit away where Grendel attacked you guys, just around the other side of the pond. So you would see, though, that it's starting to gather a crowd.
Are any of them that weird kid that asked for advice and I was like, oh, nobody, don't do that.
No.
Good.
None of them
So
are.
he lives the other way, right? He's okay.
I told him to try to ambush, so he's probably waiting in the woods by himself.
Yeah, you didn't give him the best advice.
Nope. Gave him advice.
Life
Is anyone just
advice,
covered in
Draven.
shit? Because I believe that was the other advice, was to cover yourself in horse shit.
Oh, no.
These people, as they managed to actually track down where Grendel was and use some smarts, these are the ones who didn't cover themselves in shit. These seem like fairly capable bounty hunters in comparison to a lot
Many
of
bad name.
the ones you tricked.
Yeah, Draven just goes out nonchalantly with the head.
Yeah, Willoughby would also nonchalantly walk out of the pond directly towards the Grendel body.
You see,
Oh, I
as
see you
start-
made your way out.
Drew
Yeah,
goes,
look at this. I
Yeah,
wrote
there's.
and there they are now. And you see them all just kind of stand up and go, ah,
Oh.
congratulations! We don't have any drinks, but we would drink to you in your name. We were told by the great Thru that you're the hunters of Grendel. You're the ones who won.
Indeed. Is it? What is it? Did they say skull? What is that?
I don't know. I saw some weird stuff in that pond. I don't really care about this whole thing right now. To be honest,
to that.
Let's come back to
Yes,
that.
we, the unnamed heroes that also have. Thank you. Where the hell are the others?
I think they might be dead.
I'm gonna take a big breath and go back to Elena
Okay.
since I haven't heard anything.
That's a bad thing, though, because Eldred really hates it when people die here.
That is true. Hey, while it would be a tragedy if they did die, we'd make some more money.
One of the women steps forward and
Fucking
interrupts you and goes, who killed it? What did you use? How did it die?
Oh. Draven is actually laughing. And because it would have washed off. He just starts talking about how they ripped the arms off of the thing and then beat the hell out of it over and over and over again, and then going down the line of this one and then that one, and he's talking about it with kind of like a crazed look in his face that probably concerns somebody, maybe Willoughby.
Roll an accidental intimidation check just to see how the general demeanor of the people around
That's
are.
my new band name. Not merely competent bounty hunters.
An
Can I
unintentional
roll an
intimidation.
accidental insight check to see if even this
Go for
intimidation?
it, yeah.
Whoops.
I roll a 17.
Oh yeah.
Still just
Sorry.
barely glowing.
14.
You see a few of the people kind of looking uneasy, their smiles turning into kind of almost just concerned looks. A few people take a step back.
Part apart than taking a bite. Tasted decrepit, but it was better than those fingers that I had.
Through just kind of bites her apple and smiles. And through kind of, it's in the side of her cheek, just goes, I'm beginning to like you.
Nice. You're in, dude.
Shut up. Ella. No, I'm not falling for the first one.
Back in the cave, Juno, you're waiting by the water. Eldred's just gone back under for Lena.
Yeah, I'm waiting for these two. Like, I'm going to wait here until they come back. Like,
Lena and Eldred, what are you two doing?
I see her and just
When-
wave.
Eldred
Shrug.
gets back to the crack. She doesn't see Lena.
I just underwater yell. I swim back to Juno. Lena's gone.
what?
I don't know. She's gone. I
Where?
don't see her.
Juna's looking at that water like, I'll see if I'll go find Draven. I can't go back in that water. I'm sorry.
Okay, you go get Draven.
I'll go get Draven and tell you this.
I'll go look again.
Okay. I'll head out the cave because we know that Draven left and he's not here,
Yeah.
so he must be outside. So
Also, by this point, Eldred's gone down so many times that anytime she comes up, she'd be covered in all of the blood and just kind of
So gross.
You just your
Yeah,
hair
her
would be kind of
eyes are
slick
still
as fuck.
black and veiny.
Yuck.
Be terrifying.
yep.
And my normally curly wild hair is like plastered.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Lena, what are you doing?
Yes. So, if anyone had stayed, this probably wouldn't have happened. But no one stayed. If anyone had turned around and looked, what they would have seen is Lena's eyes turn black with a ring of silver around them, much like a fish's eye. And you see that her skin turns a kind of pale pink. And then suddenly there's a salmon in the water, and she swims through the crack.
It is a little smaller. The crack's a little tighter to somebody, so it's not the most comfortable swim you've ever had. But you follow the same path that Willoughby did previously and end up in the pond.
You're never gonna get a subclass at this point.
Jesus.
All right. So yeah, I guess, swim over to the heart, and I take a look at it. I'll kind of swim around it a little bit. And then I will. You'll see a sort of shimmer for a second, and then suddenly, if you were looking, you'd see Lena again. And I'm gonna just kind of. I think I'm gonna. Okay, so here's what I'll do. I'm at the heart beating under the pond. And for a second, there's a flash of blue in my hand. And suddenly a dagger is there. And I'm not going to poke the heart, but I think I'll just kind of prod one of the chains a little.
The dagger wouldn't do anything to it.
All right. It vanishes. And then I'll reach down and I'll pull out one of the daggers that I had sheathed, and I'll do the same and just kind of poke at one of the chains a little.
Yep, you feel the kind of rustier metal. Some of the kind of the kelp is starting to grow around it, and the kind of the pond life at the bottom is kind of starting to grow around some of the chains. But yeah, it's made of iron. These are pretty hefty.
Does the water seem different right close to it than it did?
Yeah, I mean it's putrid. It is. It's harder to see through. Even with dark vision, it's like ink spills into the water, so it's a little harder to see through.
Okay. I'll put my dagger back in the sheath.
Okay.
And I'll come out.
Yeah, come out right in front of us.
I'm gonna come out of the pond.
Okay.
Because I know at least, I know that I told them to go back. And there's no sense. She's pretty efficient. She's not going to just waste time and go back.
Okay.
So she'll come out of the pond.
When do you transform into your normal self?
I was, with the daggers I was. So
okay,
I'm
yeah,
already
of course you
back
are.
to myself.
You weren't a fish holding a dagger. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
If I could do that, though,
yeah.
then I would have done it just for fun. a little tiny, like, fish-sized dagger in a fin.
Well, that means that, Eldred, you've gone back down there and you can't find her. Juno, you come out of the waterfall as you see Lena swimming up to the shore.
Just you see like this very exasperated Messergite philosopher just like, like, and then like I will go back into the cave.
I'm swimming back to the room with the skeleton.
Okay.
Searching.
I'm gonna roll something. I'm gonna roll
I'm gonna just shake my head as I watch her like go back in. Like, what is she doing? That makes no sense.
No, you were what, Juno? Going back inside the waterfall.
Yeah. And she gets to that pool of water looking down, and with probably the heroism starting to run out, like it's just she just looks at it and then is just comes back out to the where the whole party is with Draven and Lena and all of those guys.
Where's Eldred?
She's still in there. She thinks that you went missing. You vanished.
I said come out, and I'll go back in.
What is happening right now?
That is a very good question, Willoughby.
I assumed
You-
only I would cause problems with us leaving this cave. I assumed everyone would simply leave.
Yes, so did we. And then Lena was waiting for you in case you came back, and then Eldred went to check because it had been a long time.
And then
Eldred
Lena
was missing.
logically followed me to check if I was okay.
How would she logically follow you?
I
through
don't
twin-
know. Maybe she
We're
could squeeze.
We're not trees. We can't do that.
I mean, you're the only. Well, you're a human, but Lena doesn't breathe.
Okay,
Lena's not.
Lena doesn't breathe, but
The
last time I
second
checked,
you
she couldn't
can't
fit through
breathe, the
a
rules stop
2-inch
applying to you. Let me tell
Okay.
you what.
We need to
Lesson learned. You don't breathe, rules don't apply. Okay, great.
really talk about communication.
Yes. And also maybe what everyone can do. Like, oh, I can go through gaps and I can turn to gas. I don't know.
Honestly,
Okay.
I'm operating right now. I'm operating on an assumption that all of you are gods fucking with me.
That's
Really, to be
fine.
frank.
Gina just points at herself like,
That would be
"Whoa."
such an amazing plot twist. I wish that was true.
Draven looks at Willoughby, and
You're all Loki.
specifically Willoughby, you get a reaction with your insight that Draven stares at you for way too long after you say that.
Yeah, that's right. I got you right where I want you.
My insight's not that far off, buddy, as well. Like, I think Juno's like,
He's an investigator. Let me give this to him. You're a
sure. Yeah, I got the brain. But yeah, I think like I'll just make that case that yeah, hopefully Lena will go fetch Eldred.
What if they're? What if they
Yeah.
are dead? We to make more money.
Imagine dying in such a disgusting pool of water.
Gosh, they would literally just become a part of like the ground sediment.
So can okay, but did you find anything in this pool, Willoughby? Is there anything we should be aware of?
There was a horrible beating heart at the bottom of the pool. I didn't want to touch it because honestly, frankly, coming off of that fight with the Grendel, I'm a little tired.
That makes sense.
frankly.
That understands. And who the fuck are they? And then I point at all the bounty
They all go on the
hunters.
ground. Drew just looks at us. They are fans.
Okay.
And they're like, well,
Of
no,
yourself, I'm assuming?
no, we were here to kill the Grendel. And then
Oh,
you stuck
well.
around to see who killed him. Well, he's dead. Now
okay.
fuck off. They will kind of look to your group.
I mean, she's not. What she says is true. It's a bit too late, I'm afraid.
All right, well, well hunted. They kind of turn and all start wandering off. Eldred, you just popped out of the other pool as well, and you're inside the cave. No one there.
I search for any evidence that she was here.
Go ahead and roll
Did she
an
become this
investigation check.
bone? Is this you, Eldred? Is this you?
Natural one.
With
out of that
that,
cave.
you look in there, and you find a small hair braid, and you can't remember if Lena was wearing this, but in your mind you're thinking, what if she was?
Oh no.
Another thought keeps going through your mind that she must have come back here.
I'm gonna start digging.
I'm just gonna go in and look for them, I guess, because this is taking forever.
Okay. But bring them here. Don't go through swimming through tiny gaps. Just
Sure.
stand there.
It's gonna be the roundabout
whatever
episode where you
say.
guys keep getting lost.
He's gonna go back into the cave, climb back into the water, walk all the way through, and just anyone he sees along that path, he's
Like,
going to
points back.
gonna grab.
You would arrive in, and what is the scene, Eldred, inside that cave? What are you doing right now?
Just frantically.
Well, I've gone back in.
digging
I already
and
went back in
covered
to
in
look.
muck.
So I would come out of the water and be like, Eldred, did you forget something?
You! Where did you go? Why did you?
No, I told you to go outside and I would be out there. It's okay. Are you? Oh, did you? Okay. No,
Did
it's
you come
okay.
He's gonna
back?
show up
Where
right
have you
now
been?
too.
I'm sorry. I didn't
What's
mean to
going
scare
on?
you. Eldred was digging, but I think it was because she was everything's fine. Let's just go outside. It really smells terrible in here. We could talk outside.
You getting some kind of cave madness or something, Eldred?
No, I think She's
Been in the
fine.
cave
Both
for
of
too
you
long.
disappeared.
I turned into a fish and swam through a small crack.
And what did you do?
I turned into a salmon, and I swam through the crack.
There you go.
Willoughby's just like, "That
I look at
explains
Willoughby and I'm like a
everything."
small fish.
This
You're
is
some
something
kind
both
of.
can
I
do.
just kind of freestyle it at this point. I've been doing this long enough.
Yeah, no, that's good. It's terrible in here. We'll go outside. We can talk out there. Yeah,
Okay.
it's okay. We'll just go through this disgusting water one more time.
Okay.
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 It's fine.
I follow through the water.
See, this wouldn't have happened if you also learned how to turn into a fish. He does definitely say that while we're just in the water and you can't respond.
So just to clarify, are all three of you going out the normal
Yeah.
exit of the cave to
Yes.
meet with the group?
I am out of things to do, unfortunately.
Well, you
Enough chaos has been caused today.
You exit the cave, and the rest of you see as the full party come along. The bounty hunters have kind of moved on, heading back through. Just kind of finished their apple now. Throws the core to one side. Leans back against it, goes, "Finally, all back. What is this about the thing in the water?"
I
The sludge.
There was some kind of, when I went through that crack, it came out to the pond, and in it was a heart that, Joe, it looked like a human's heart, kind of just larger, right? It was a human's heart chained down at the bottom of the pond, and it's spitting out all of that,
Like huge.
all that
That was-
stuff.
That makes sense to what we found. I'm sort of saying this to Thrud, but also sort of as a refresher for the group. Like the thing, the effigy or whatever it was on the wall that Grendel, we think, was communicating with its mother. It said that Grendel had done something and that it would corrupt the fens in the waters and things like that, and that monsters would come and grow here. Perhaps whatever is down there is precisely that, whatever Grendel has placed there to kind of corrupt these lands.
We must destroy it.
Fuck
Yeah,
the
I
thing.
just wasn't really in any kind of physical shape to pull that thing out
Well,
of.
not by yourself, but we can all go.
Fuck the thing. Where's Bruder?
Wasn't in the cave, I'll tell you that.
All right. You're gonna be pissed. Bruder betrayed you for coin. And
Wilby takes a step back.
we have proof of this. And what I would hope is that you'll wait for us to give you the proof until after we get paid, because after we get paid, whatever you do is not our problem.
Explain.
Bruder was the one who poisoned you.
Yes.
We have enough evidence
explains-
to back it up.
And it explains why he wasn't affected by the same poison, despite the fact you both drank from the same flagon.
Like an aether drop.
We have the vial here.
Just kind of glances towards it. Why did he try to kill me?
That, I think, is a little bit more complicated. It seems to be a part of maybe a greater plot, something to do with this war between Mesogyre and your realm, but also to do with the people, something to do with Herot as well. Some plans, shenanigans.
Yes. Which is why it's so important that we don't jump to any more violent conclusions here, or else we won't actually be able to find out who was after you.
Yes. We want to make sure we have everything locked down before we take any action.
Okay. Do you know who was offering the coin to him?
Yes.
Who?
We think we do.
I do enough. You think too much.
That's true. Will you promise me you'll wait for us to get paid first?
It's extremely important.
I promise
Before you do it.
you'll get paid fast.
Cool.
Then we can all go back together.
King Hrothgar.
We
Cave.
think.
But stop saying we think. We don't have to be right.
still have
we can make an
the,
assumption.
I'd like us to be right before we. Yeah, I'm
Deception
pretty
is
confident.
a common thing in situations like this, and despite the evidence we have, there is still a chance that it may not be accurate.
Exactly.
Which is why it's important that we don't just run into Herot and murder the king.
Why?
Why not?
Because we want to be sure
But why?
of what happened.
If
Because
we
want-
jump to conclusions and we kill the king, if there's someone beyond even them that's pulling the strings, we've lost the chance to find them.
Here's the thing. If anyone killed the king, it would probably be her.
I
And
want
if-
to know if it wasn't him. I want to know who was behind it. I want to know who was pulling the strings, as Willoughby says.
But why do we think he's going to reveal any of that to us? To be honest, I feel like
He might not.
I'm gonna
But we
look
have
at. I'm
information
gonna
he
look
doesn't
at
have.
Thrud. I
Mhm.
think we have a very good reason that he would tell us.
Being threatened by a god is a pretty quick way to tell the truth from personal experience.
I actually doubt that, only because if he was willing to let Thor's daughter die in his own hole, he wasn't afraid of repercussions.
I think
What do you
that's.
mean?
I think that's
It's either
almost
that he
the
wasn't
opposite, Draven.
afraid or he was confident that he wouldn't fail.
He
Absolutely.
hired someone
Count
to
on
poison.
us.
That he
he-
wouldn't fail, or that he had someone else in his corner who could save him if it all went wrong. I would like to know who that would be if that's the case.
Feel like you all have a strange view of families.
The
Because
worst case
Wow.
scenario. What harm is there to ask, rather than just go in and swing first? We might as well ask and make the threats and see if he's willing, if he gives up this information, and make sure there's no
There's
harm
more
in
to
it.
gain.
It's a delay of a couple of minutes before the carnage.
I don't
Right.
care about talking. That's fine. My point is, if he dies, I do not care.
Okay.
That's
No,
the
I-
point that I'm making.
I want to get answers before that, but if he genuinely has hired an assassin to kill someone and to potentially bring ruin upon many innocent lives through the, I also want to see him face justice, but I want to get answers if we can.
To be frank, I'm operating on the assumption that if there is someone beyond King Hrothgar that's pulling strings, they may have also had something to do with the poisoning of Yggdrasil. So I am somewhat more invested now than I was when this was simply a demigod being poisoned. No offense.
So you don't want to go there and kill every single one of them?
We are not going to go to Herot and kill everyone in Herot. If Hrothgar is behind it, Hrothgar can pay for that, not all of the people of Herot who had nothing to do with it.
And his guards, when they fight us, I can kill them?
If they
If-
attack you, yes.
If the guards get involved, that's on them. That's their job
their
to
choice.
decide if they want to die
Exactly.
for that.
We can certainly make the case that it will not end very well if they do. But if they choose to, then that's their choice. I have a suspicion that not that I like to admit it, but I do wonder if the king's prophecy about his son killing him will be involved in all of this, and perhaps his son may even turn his own steel against his father, if this is true. But yes, we will see. That's just more of a passing thought of mine. What do we want to do about this hut? Do we want to try and destroy it now before
Yes.
we leave?
We should definitely deal with it before we leave, but
It
I
will
didn't want to
spawn
do it without all of
monsters.
you knowing.
No, yes,
Okay.
we should do it together.
Okay. Want to lend us a hand through
Yes.
the big old hammer and destroying an evil monster making hut, maybe?
It's
No.
Very large.
Okay.
We'll probably have to get it out of the pod before we destroy it.
It was placed there by the creature that killed your lover. If that's any.
You mean the traitorous cur who poisoned her?
Yes.
If anything, if Grendel was alive, I'd thank it before killing it.
Okay, that's fair.
It seemed like the chains holding it down were just regular chains. I don't. We just go down and break them, pull it out.
Whoever can breathe underwater, feel free to join me in getting the chains off of this damn thing.
How
we'll be
deep
able to
is the
start
pool?
walking towards the pond.
Yeah, how deep is the pool?
It's probably about 100 feet deep before you get to the bottom.
Fuck.
Quite a deep pool.
Oh, Juno.
Okay.
That's too
It's
much
alright.
for you.
That's a lot. Let's roll. But I think like kind of like stealing herself a little bit like on the edge of the pool. It'll be kind of like, and I do have a key point because I got one from leveling up. So I'm actually gonna summon Golden Wisdom
Did
because
we
that
not
will I can
short
use
rest
Golden Wisdom to
after-
like lift and stuff as well.
We have not short rested. It would be cool if we
And
did.
you haven't short or long rested yet.
We have not since we finished last
Do
session.
we want to short rest before tackling the heart?
You
Like,
know,
want to catch
frankly,
your breath and
probably a
and
wise
relax.
idea.
We can do that. We've already been standing here talking. We just sit down and keep talking.
Right.
It's fine.
But I just summoned my cool. Okay. And then I'll take a short
Oh,
rest. No, it's fine.
Do you technically have that if we haven't rested yet?
Yeah, I had one key point left, so I could have used it.
what if
but
she
it's fine.
squeaked that in right
Without
before you
leveling up.
summoned it?
It's fine. I'll get those back anyway, I think.
You haven't
But
technically
water's
leveled up yet, by the way.
disgusting.
You're at
Oh, okay. Okay.
until your next long rest.
All right. Okay. In that case, I did not do that.
It's okay.
So,
I didn't know if it was one spare. You can rest outside here, just spending some downtime, recuperating, rolling the hit dice you need, restore any short rest features.
oh yeah, that's true. I have hit dice. Wow.
During the short rest, does anyone do anything? Or are you just gonna relax for it?
I have nothing to do.
Meditate.
Relax.
Thrude kind of leans over on her knees and kind of looks across at you. What were you gonna say, Eldred?
I just look at Lena, and this is the first time you've experienced this from me, but you hear my voice in your head. Do you want to tell me about this salmon business? You can respond.
No one else can hear this, just you?
It's just me.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. I should have said. It's a thing that, it's just a thing I can do sometimes. It's nothing to worry about. It is, I suspect, but I'm not sure. It's maybe different than how Willoughby does it.
Is this a good
Also,
thing?
his
Were you
was a
born this
tiny
way?
fish.
Were you born this way? Did someone give this to you?
It's a little of both, actually. Yeah, it's a little of both. I don't mind. Maybe discussing at least that part with everyone if we think that we can trust them, that we might continue on with them. If we think we're going to leave them, then I'm not going to bother. No sense in...
If it's not too sensitive,
It's not really. It's just I don't...
it doesn't make you a target. or anything?
Not exactly. It's more that, sometimes you don't want to play all of your cards at once, And in the time that we have known each other, I didn't really need to do it. Just never really came up. Nothing really was happening, right? It was just...
We have not spent a lot of time in water.
No, we didn't really. And honestly, that water's disgusting. And now we have to go back. It's fine. But it wasn't... How do I say this? Also, this is sort of weird. I like you a lot more than I like them because I've known you longer and I trust you more than I trust them. It is a thing that I could always do. But I think like anything, right? There's a little more to it. Like, we've never talked like this before.
Yes.
So, right?
Right. Well, people tend to freak out a little when I show that I can do this, so...
It makes things a lot easier, I don't know.
Yeah.
How far away can you be to do this?
Pretty far.
Like,
I don't. As long as I can see you in the beginning, and you're within 40 feet when we start, I think you can go pretty far, and we can keep talking for an hour.
I just think that might be useful. Like, we should... I was going to say we should remember this. You already knew you can do it, so you don't need to remember it at all. But
yeah, see, I should have done this when I left you by the crack, but I didn't know it would be necessary, and then...
No, I didn't.
But now I can do it next time, and then it won't lead to this confusion again.
I'm very sorry. I did not mean to scare you at all. That was not my intention. If I scared anyone else, I am also sorry to them too. It was not. I got a little worried that Willoughby wasn't coming back, and his fish was small, so I thought I should check on him. But he was fine. He's very capable anyway. I don't know why I was worried. So I don't know. Maybe when we are done with this, we drag a giant heart up. It's very big, by the way. We drag the giant heart up. We stab it a few times. It stops pumping the gross whatever. We go back to Herot. We get paid. And then we can have a chat with everybody and see how things lay, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Hey, Draven, you see those two? They've been staring at each other without saying a word for like 10 minutes.
I think it's, I heard about a thing with like twins where they can read each other's minds or something.
Are they twins? I've never asked because I just don't ask questions like that.
No, don't. If you do, they'll give you weird answers. They don't make sense. And I thought you and I were the, the older non-breathers, but apparently the weirder one doesn't breathe.
Honestly, finding out that half of the group doesn't breathe has really given me weird vibes about this whole deal.
Yeah, no, something's wrong. I hate this. This was a weird world. I want to go home.
Which one of you is Loki? That's what I'm still trying to figure out, because I know one of you is Loki.
The trickster god, correct?
Oh yeah, I'm positive Loki's fucking with me.
Hearing the two of you discussing who is weirder is a very strange experience while I'm trying to meditate.
You know what, sheltered child? I don't want to hear it. Draven is also going to scribble a note, and then he just hands it over to Thrud. Mm-hmm. And then goes to like kind of sit by himself for a little bit by the water for the rest of the short rest.
Is it his phone number?
She reads it over. Just goes to you, Draven. Crunches it up, pops it in her mouth, and just swallows it back. Nods her head towards you.
Grins. Lovely.
Well, I'm excited to get it back, so let's see how big this heart is. Go on then. Well, one of you.
Willoughby's gonna just start walking towards the pond casually.
Okay.
Follow.
Yep.
Follow.
I'll conjure golden wisdom before I go down in, so I can use my wisdom instead of my strength.
Okay. Going down into the water, as I described before. Murky, deep down, 100 feet down. The chains enveloping over the pumping heart as it pumps out the inky, tainted substance. What do you want to do?
May I use divine sense, actually? To see if this is considered like celestial fiend or undead?
Yeah.
Here?
What's your so you're gonna go down there and use it? Yeah.
Yes.
You would know this to be undead.
Okay, cool. Fun confirmation.
How many chains are weighing this thing down, did you say?
There's two. One kind of over the top, and then one going the opposite way, so vertical and horizontal. It's like a ribbon.
Cool. I'll
there-
have... Go on.
Oh, good. No, you go ahead.
I was just going to have golden wisdom basically grab one, and we're going to start trying to pull it up.
I was just gonna ask if there was anything to say this was like magical, like these chains, or if these are just normal, everyday chains we're looking at, holding this heart down.
Yeah, if you've got anything to detect magic, you can check. Otherwise, if you want to try and tear them out, make an athletics check. I think you do
Okay.
with wisdom.
I do, yes.
Nice.
So this is just going to be a straight wisdom check for me. So unless Willoughby wants to do something and immediately be like, no, I
have detect magic, but I would have to ritual it. So
there we go.
wait another 10 minutes, then no. Dice.
Only an 11, unfortunately. So trying to pull it, but probably
Put
not
it,
enough.
and it feels like it's where it's kind of chained into the ground is very tightly just bashed down, in a way that's kind of where someone might put a screw or a nail in with the hopes that you might be able to get out again. This has clearly been just pushed down to hold it for as long as possible. It's not enough to pull it.
Yeah. I'll let the others go, but that's basically going to be what Juno's trying to do. It's the only thing I really can do.
I'm gonna have Willoughby use Archer Constellation and try to like cut through these things with radiant energy.
Go for it. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna do attacks at the base of these chains. That's a nat 20.
Nice, dude.
Of course, bam.
Willoughby rolls hot, dude.
Go and roll the damage.
You
to see
really
how much
do.
damage it does. Yeah, you are rolling very
That's
hot.
gonna be bad damage. That's gonna be 10.
I only had 10 health
Come
points on them. You literally shoot the radiance, and it's just enough to burn the chain link enough that it loosens, and then you easily kind of yank off the first chain. which
Okay, so
loosens
like,
the heart.
Willoughby blasts it, and then I'll pull the first chain off, basically.
Yep, you realize these are ordinary chains. Just being kind of pulled
I mean,
down.
Willoughby will just aim at the next one, just do it again at that point. 19. I don't
Hits.
think chains have very high AC.
Yeah, right.
13.
Yep.
I would have dug around the
Breaks that one
bottom,
as
but
well.
I was like, I got it.
The
Yeah,
heart is
I'll
kind
pull
of
that one free.
And the heart
Does it float?
starts floating upwards, slightly buoyant. Every time it kind of pumps, it goes a little bit up and drifts
Ew.
A
down.
little jet propulsion, like
Yeah.
shoots it up.
Gross. Ew.
I'll swim up.
Make a gross face.
It isn't
Let me
long
know.
before it just surfaces. Nice flat on the top.
Ugh.
That's disgusting.
Yes,
I
it is.
said it's gross.
Bring it closer.
I'm gonna go like this to the water
Is
because
it-
I don't want to
it's
touch
big,
it because
right?
it's so
Willoughby's
gross.
just like,
Yes,
Willoughby's
it's
just going to
like
like reach up and
chains.
start pulling it out. like
like
just
torso
like along
size.
the water.
Yeah, pull the chains.
Yeah, you can kind of pull it out. Push the water as well to cause a kind of a ripple or current towards the edge, and it washes up on the shore. And you can see it's still on the shoulder, and just sprays some of this mucus onto the side. This kind of black substance just lies on the edge of the kind of dirty sand area.
And pull out 2 vials and scoop it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get some of this just to check what it is. If no one else has any ideas, I'm just gonna start shooting it until it is
I was going to
destroyed.
start pummeling it.
I bet,
Yeah.
or
I'm going to back up to the wall and pull out the crossbow.
What up?
Stand back if you don't want to be in the splash zone.
Nah,
Go ahead.
let's stay about 10 feet. I'll get my reach on, but yeah, with Willoughby as well. I think Juno and Willoughby just pummel this thing till mush.
yeah, I
You firing
happily
as well,
back
Ruse?
up and let them.
Yeah, shooting crossbow.
Okay. Go ahead and roll an attack for it. Just to see how much damage each person does individually.
7
Although I can,
or
I flurry.
8
Go for it, yeah.
radiant.
What AC we looking at?
It's only got an 11 AC.
Okay, so 2 of my attacks.
What a
missed my
baby.
first shot.
I fucking miss. I whiff it.
I missed on my first one. I did 15 force damage to it with 2
I'm
attacks.
accounting for
of
aiming
flurry.
underwater.
Your crossbow goes a little bit high. The radiance burns beside it. You kind of hit part of the artery, but don't really burn through. But with your punches, you just like cause these huge holes into it, and it just splutters up. And where it should land on the radiance, it kind of just dribbles off, almost like water and oil, and falls to the ground. The slush, and the heart lets out like almost like a
Ew.
as it kind of inflates and then deflates. And it tries to pump, but just dies. And life.
I like to imagine that Golden Wisdom just sort of smushes it like together, like scrunches it like as it finishes, and then drops like the crumpled remain.
I try to shoot another bolt at it.
Go for it. Roll a attack.
Yeah, check if it's dead.
Double tap.
Yeah, 16 hit.
Yeah, hits. After the
8.
corpse
If
drops
we
you
have
down.
any sort of fire or radiant and that sort of divine energy or flame, perhaps maybe to burn it, I think my attacks have sort of.
I'll do one last to make sure that it's all
Whilst
scorched away.
You're talking, you also see, as it starts to go and starts to regenerate.
Oh, come on.
Fire.
Stop that.
I
Will be
start
fires
to
again
light
at the
my torch with
regeneration.
real fire.
Stop that now.
What was the point of asking a god to help us if we don't have the god help us?
Bro, they're just watching
she said
right
no.
now.
She
not
said she
heavy.
wasn't going to help, but if
She said
wants
she
to
wasn't going to go in the water. She said she was going to help us smash
Okay.
the heart.
help, sure.
I don't care about that heart thing. I mean, if I have to be honest, these mortals tried to poison me. Why not let them have their entire swampland poisoned?
That's fair.
Fitting.
One, as far as we know, one mortal tried to poison you. I don't want to put that on everyone, but
One bad apple can ruin the
fair.
bunch.
Not asking you, you don't want to be involved, is fine.
Just
Eldred,
set on
It
fire.
can't keep
Fire
dodging my shots forever.
it can, Willoughby.
Nine.
It can, it really can.
No, you know,
Whip
I've
of
been
the
able
radiant
I
to get
believe in you.
perfect shots from extremely far away, but there's something about the way it's pumping that
Back up.
heart that, ooh, maybe it was
Like,
me
try
to just
back up a
back
little
up and go for another.
Oh my god. I'm going to walk up with
Just
Grendel.
one more.
blasting the
Next
ground
time.
around it.
I'm going
I
to
think
try to just cut it in half with Grendel's great
I think it needs
If you
fire
look,
or
you'll just
something
notice
to
that Willoughby's
regenerate.
whole face is covered in that black sludge, and he's partially blinded.
That's
I'm,
you know
At
what?
this point, I'm like,
And he
Eldred,
can't feel
fire,
it, so
burn.
he just thinks that like it's fucking getting dark outside.
The axe slams down into the ground next to it. You
Okay.
manage to whiff it.
We
What
need
is
to
it?
just set it on fire, I think.
Someone hold it down.
Joe, can I light my torch with real fire, considering it's been in the water so much just now?
I'll have Golden Wisdom physically
Okay.
hold the thing, like so that Eldred can
light
burn
the
it.
torch with real fire and try to set the
Go ahead and just make a
the
melee
heart
attack.
ablaze.
I'm just curious to see if you hit it.
You have advantage because I'm like holding
Yeah, I'll
it in
give it-
place.
18
There we
hits.
go.
You, like,
Eight.
Push it towards her.
It only has 1 HP right now because it was just regenerating. After all of the just radiance bashing around it, Draven's axe just doesn't judge the kind of distance of it, just slams into the ground.
It's harder than you'd think it is.
Oh, right, because you blinded me.
Oh, because I blinded you.
You hold it down and then and you hear the kind of like almost kind of a squill coming from it as it just burns away to ash.
Watch it
Done.
with the torch still lit, watching it.
Doesn't regenerate after you burn it.
Problem solved.
Problem solved.
That was a wily heart right there. I've never seen one. So put up a fight.
I bet you're glad that the bounty hunters went home, huh? He steps up,
Yeah.
lifts a hammer over his shoulder.
I was fine. I was
Why
fine
is it
with
so dark outside?
No, you've got to think. Just wipe Willoughby. It's not. It's.
Oh, yeah, you've got the little,
just like
little,
he's kind of flops his head
mug.
around, a little bit of like sludge just kind of flops off of his head.
Okay, maybe just stand still a moment and we'll just wipe some of this away off your little. There we go.
Golden wisdom. Do like the mom thing, where, like
Yeah, just like white. Yeah.
Ah, yes, this is embarrassing, horribly embarrassing, to be honest.
You know, you're
No,
not
we
used to
won't
it.
tell
You know,
I can't
you
feel.
it. Exactly.
Let me be clear. I cannot feel anything.
It's fine. That's what we can help you with that. You know, we can see when you've got sludge on your face and wipe it off, so it's fine. Right. Heart destroyed. Everybody's gathered up the arms that they want to keep. Everyone's got vials of gross blood that they want to
Yes.
take. Yes. We don't want to leave anything behind.
You're being a weird maternal figure, and I don't like it.
I'm
smells
joking.
bad.
I'm making fun. I'm ready to go.
now I smell bad because I was in the water. I'd like a bath.
If that's another thing that I would like Herot to not be destroyed for, I would
Yeah, can
very
we
much
get the
like
bath
a warm
first?
bed and a bath.
Juno,
Yes.
you're very smart. Exactly. Also, Juno, next time take your own pillow because it's really nice.
Okay.
Okay. How long a walk back is it?
If you make your way directly there, you'll get there in a few hours.
That reminds me. Do you still have that map I drew for you, Thrud?
I do.
I'd like it back if you'd be so kind.
Yeah. She just kind of reaches into one of her satchels and just throws it to you.
Yeah, Wilby will pocket it.
I appreciate that, by the way. If you didn't do that, I probably wouldn't have arrived in time.
Of course, I've got plenty of practice with it.
If I speak to my father anytime soon, I'll put in a good word for you.
Very good.
Can I be giving Willoughby like a thumbs up behind Thrud's back, like, hey?
Not bad. She kind of walks ahead of the crowd and starts making her way straight towards the distant gates, which you can see far off into the horizon. But yeah, it's a few-hour walk to go through the swamp. On the way there, you would come across other people who are searching around. Some that have kind of already been told and are now making their way back. The kind of many people that gathered to head out into the swamp. Some are shouting and screaming. They might have taken down a grendling or found a kind of some sort of swamp creature, but nothing close to the Grendel. Making your way back there, you spend a few hours on the road and eventually come across the open gates leading into Herot. Many guards are kind of watching down from the gates, using kind of spy glasses to look across the various woodlands underneath them, the kind of Everglade-like style trees that are now becoming corrupted. And you slowly pass back into the realm of Herot, where the group of bounty hunters who had previously been sent away by Thrud and yourselves have now gathered with many others who are set out and have now kind of returned, waiting eagerly to see your return. And you get a procession of cheers the moment you step out through with the arms in hand. The killers of Grendel. And you see them all kind of cheer, and Thrud just looks back and glances across all of your group and says, I guess you're celebrities around here now. Get used to the fame.
I guess.
And she continues walking forward towards the distant halls of Herot. Is there anything you want to do in Herot before you head up towards the general landscape of Herot before you head up towards the main hall.
As much as I would like to go and cash in some stuff with Spring, I think we need to go with Thrud. If we let Thrud go on her own, like, that's not a good call.
Agreed.
You start heading along towards the main hall. Passing through past like villagers who are all gathered to see what happens. The word hasn't yet reached them of who's killed Grendel or not. So people are still kind of gathering tools. You see a lot of the people who are wanting to go out hunting are still prepping their gear. You guys have killed Grendel in a day. No one really expected that. And eventually you ride back in the great halls of Herot, to the sound of people drinking and shouting and cheering. The final day or two of partying at its kind of pretty much at its best in these last 2 days. People spending the last of their coin that they budgeted out for this trip, and the gambling and the fighting all kind of amounted to it. But the main hall itself, the one of the king, a lot of people have gathered inside. And some are shouting and calling out to a crowd, and I'm assuming you're heading straight there. She's walking straight towards that one.
Yeah, we'll follow.
The moment you are passing into that hall, you would hear a man's voice, and you would see this half-orc, which is something you might not have seen before, as they come from Ithella only. They're not in Mesogire or Midgard. He stood up there.
would have, right?
Yeah, Willoughby would have been familiar with them. Rare around these parts, though, as they would have to travel between worlds. And he's shouting out, "This is your Grendel. We've killed it." And he's pointing back, and you see this almost bear-like creature with kind of wider arms. Not fur. It's more like amphibian-like, but it's got the size of a bear. A kind of a larger jaw that sticks out from its front face. And 6 legs as well. It's almost like this kind of like frog-like bear creature, and it's lying dead, having been dragged here on almost like a sled and tied around it. The king is holding his head in his hands, rubbing his face, and the son kind of looks over and says, "We have told you this is not the Grendel."
Oh.
This creature matches the description, does it not? Many arms, great beast with a mighty jaw. This is not the Grendel. The Grendel is at least twice the size of this beast. Perhaps it was hungry this day. If this is not the Grendel, then I don't know what would be. And kind of the muttering comes in as they see Thrud walking through and the crowd kind of passing. And she looks behind, looks to you guys, looks down at all the arms. That's not the Grendel. Because this lot were the ones who killed the actual Grendel, King Hrothgar. And she looks back towards you, Draven, and says, "Your group has the floor."
Thank you.
Steps aside.
And I'll just pull out that string of arms that are tied together. And in true dramatic fashion, just like toss them so that they roll a little bit and as you should.
The king sits up in his chair now. All the people start talking around the hallway, or the hall, itself. Some guards looking around. Many of those who have gathered to see who might bring in whatever for today's catches. And now looking over towards your group, muttering. The half-orc turns his head. It's a group of arms. Does not prove it's the Grendel.
I walk up real close to the half-orc. Would you rather I show you how I pulled these arms off the Grendel instead?
There'll be no need. King Hrothgar sits up. I'd recognize the arm that hung above my head for the last many years. But I will ask that another hunted the Grendel many years ago and gave me the gift of an arm. Yet the Grendel returned. How do I know that it won't just
return in many more years again. If you've just removed arms. Where's the rest of it?
It dissolved.
Like its smaller kin, the Grendlings. Its main body deflates, turns to liquid blood, melts, dissolves. I'll pull out the jawbone piece that I took off, like the sort of huge chunk of it, and put that down with the arms. Any physical evidence we could recover, we have presented to you. It is gone. Destroyed.
The Grendel is dead then. The terror of Herot. The joy killer. Dead! And you, my friends, are the slayers of the great Grendel. Such is cause for celebration.
Indeed.
Yeah, I'll look at the others.
Good. And for reward as well. For the killing of the Grendel. 1,000 gold coins go to the victor. And, worth more than coin, the favor of a king.
I will smile at Draven and Willoughby and the rest of them, sort of like, oh, a favor.
Draven definitely laughs a little bit.
One would imagine that if I am to understand your traditions and the stories, we could ask for anything of you, King
Anything
Hrothgar.
within my power, of course.
To be clear, is that a favor for all as one, or a favor each?
All is one.
Bastard.
I will look at the group just to make sure that we, I don't want to make calls for everyone, but I'll probably whisper like, I know what I want to ask as my favor.
How many people are in the room?
Let's just get our reward in our hands.
The coin then?
Mm-hmm.
Over 100.
Okay.
There's a lot of people gathered around the side tables.
Please, hand the coin.
Yes. How
Some
about
people
the
step
coin
over
first?
with several small bags holding 200 each. Place them in front of you.
Cool. Is Threthric the prince here as well?
Yes.
Okay.
How about the prophet?
Dual. Oh yeah, the prophet, and then Dual the advisor as well.
The prophet sat kind of what you can assume is asleep. Small twigs growing from his eyes, but sat in his chair, his head lolling slightly. Dwal is also kind of lurking to one side, drinking and kind of picking at food. Just like skulking.
How far away is Dwal?
Probably closer to the main king's
Okay.
staircase up to his throne, but on a side table.
Okay.
No one sat with him.
Oh. Okay.
So, shall we get a drink or 10 for each of our victors?
Go.
Skull.
Skull.
And you hear the rest of the hall, Skull! Music kicks off and starts again, and the party envelops the hall. People cheering and calling. Drinking games starting on all the various tables. People howling about how their experience with the Grendel was almost close as well. Then the night it attacked. Others crying in excitement to see the Grendel finally no longer a problem here in Herot. See, the general kind of vibe is now just one of triumph in the entirety of the hall. Thrud kind of looks across your group and says, Draven has convinced me that I should hold off my ire. I can kill the king, but not the innocents. It would look unfavorable to my family's name.
What?
Draven speaks very wisely in that case.
Why
So,
did you have to add that last part?
Why? I was being sincere. Perhaps you are more. I rarely am that sarcastic. I do genuinely mean that, Draven. I think that was a very wise thing to say. I think that this favor that we've been given is our opportunity to call on this farce. We demand truth.
Go for it.
Sure.
He's either going to be dead and not able to give us something, or we can at least force him to reveal it, if he does seem to know it. Willoughby, you're very good at reading people. Can you watch them do all
I'll
the praise?
I'll keep an eye on them.
All right.
You want to say it now in front of everybody?
It's pressure. It's pressure to... it means that he'll probably try, if they are guilty, they'll try and word their way out of it.
Exactly.
But in doing so, they may tip their hand. They may reveal themselves. We could do it privately, but I don't want to make that decision. I just think that if it were up to me, I would use the favor and demand something like, tell us, is it, did you try to poison Thrud? Did you bribe Bruder to poison Thrud?
I think we should ask that before asking the favor.
Sure. And then use the favor to say, well, you owe us one thing, sort of thing, or?
Potentially, but let's see if he'll even be honest. You all seem to have some sense of faith in this king. So
I
don't have any faith
No.
in the king. I just have faith in the fact that I could tell if he's lying.
I want to know who's behind it. I don't think it's just him.
I want
Either
to see
way.
him squirm.
I do think that we should ask to speak in private. It'll keep more people out of the way.
Sure.
I don't think it should just be us, though. I think his advisor and his son should be in the room.
Oh, yes, we should have all three of them in the room.
We should discuss more clearly with each other what our assumptions of a plan are.
I think
Sure.
we say we'd like to think over the favor. In the meantime, can we talk privately? We found some stuff in the Grendel's cave you might be interested in.
It's true.
Right? Because he might be interested in the note in my pocket. And then perhaps there are fewer guards around as well if things go wrong.
Even us just mentioning that we found a note that we think belongs to Bruder, we can see what his reaction is. If he reacts, if Willoughby can pick up on perhaps a hint of guiltiness in him, then we know we're onto something. We can all keep an eye out and see how they react. Or if the advisor or if the prince react to it in some way, perhaps that may give us a clue itself.
I'm interested about the prince. I feel like
all three of them are
Dwell
very...
must have been in on it. We know that...
They met with Bruder.
Yes. Okay. Let's ask for an
What
audience.
Are we all... Does that sound good?
Yes, would it be wise to properly rest before we do something like that?
I mean, a bath would be great. If Thrud's not going to kill him now, a bath would be amazing.
My only hesitation is that we know they are all here right now.
That's right.
They are all here right now. They have been publicly seen. They cannot get away. We don't have to kill them or fight them. I have no doubt we could escape safely. But they're here.
I'm
not
also
going to leave.
I'm ready to fight. I'm as a longer rest won't benefit me, so I'm good to go.
I'm certainly not, but if the rest of the group is prepared for combat, then I trust you. The fact of the matter is that if we were to establish that we would like to talk to them and any of them decide to jump town at that point, that's a pretty solid example of their guilt at that point.
It is, but
do
we'd
think-
lose the chance to get more information potentially.
If I'm going to be in a fight, I would like to have a chance to actually sleep.
Okay.
But
I am entirely spent. Healthy, but spent. My eyes bug a little.
It sounds like most of the team are in need of it, Draven. I agree, but it does sound like most of us are sort of low energy.
I'm fairly confident in my ability to find any of those three if they were to try to leave the city.
Okay.
They have.
So I think we just need to ask Thrudr if she can agree to wait for us to talk to him tomorrow.
She will.
Okay. That was very... I mean it, Draven. It was whatever you said. Great work.
It was in this instance, is what I was mentioning.
I just meant in that specific moment, not that I was trying to diminish anything. I try not to, I don't like to speak of people in that way. I try not to. Like you said, very sheltered kid. I'm still learning a lot about the world.
Well, anyways, I'm going to go get some rest by leaning against a wall for a while. I don't know about all of you.
Going to clean up and then get to rest.
Yes, I'm going to find... Do they have bath houses, or is it more like a individual thing here, or...
I don't know, but we are going to find out right now.
Okay, let's do that. All right, so it sounds like the plan is we're going to take a long rest.
I'm a party for a couple hours before Draven rests.
Before you do, Draven, Thrud would step up to you and say, My room is over there. You have one night. Prove yourself again. And then she walks straight to her room and shuts the door.
Get it?
Welcome back to that.
Now Draven's going to go clean up. And then...
The only thing that Draven will do before that is he drinks with Hrothgar a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then asks him what his plans would be if he ever became king. Like, it's just like those kind of hypothetical things, like dreaming.
Casual conversation.
He's kind of sat there drinking with you, and he's leaning over his drink. He just looks to you and says, I won't ever become king. When my father was a younger man, back when Grendel first attacked, he promised away our future to Beowulf. Despite him becoming a king of his own in the north,
That's true.
I have no legacy. When my father passes, I will be a steward of these halls for whenever Beowulf wishes to come and visit, or whatever he wishes to do with it. And I don't plan to stay that way for long. I'll likely just leave.
Yeah, there's a little bit of solidarity there. Does he speak fondly of his father?
He's hesitant. He's definitely loving from a sense of loyalty, but he realizes that the legacy of Herot has been very much one of partying and drinking, and he seems to be someone a little bit more intrigued by the idea of adventure and the kind of the Viking lifestyle, the kind of way of the world, and feels a little bit limited. So you can see there's a little bit of disdain there for the idea of just throwing festivals all the time and being the kind of the son of someone who doesn't really have much more of a legacy than that.
Oh, okay, cool. I am satisfied. Draven retires to Thrud's room then.
And so, yeah.
I was just going to say, during the evening, because Juno doesn't need to rest too much, the only thing I wanted to do is go in that half-orc from Athela, because Juno would never have met them before and would be kind of intrigued. I want to just go up and maybe sort of make conversation if they haven't left, kind of maybe start off with a sort of like, I want to apologize to my friend. We just came back from a very dangerous battle. We were all on edge. I'm sure that whatever beast you fought was interesting, but I wanted to, and maybe like ask their name and like find out like more about them, like why they here and stuff.
He looks up to you and kind of goes, "No, sit, join. It's mean nothing of it. We're excited to attack a new creature."
Yes, and I've never seen one like it myself. I'm not surprised by the identification. I would have probably assumed the same thing.
More way, yeah. It seemed to be a nasty sort. The name's Ruse.
Ruse. How'd you spell that, by the way?
Like Bruce, but with no B. Ruce.
Nice.
Like that.
Ruse. Well, Ruse, well met. I am Juno Jocasta of Mesogaia. I'm also sort of new to these realms, but I don't know much of. I've heard of folks like you, but I've never met one. I must apologize. It is mainly curiosity that brings me here to meet you and learn a little bit more of why you are here and what are you doing? Like obviously monster hunters of a sort, but what specifically brought you to this world?
More like legend hunting. A
Oh.
couple of us came by, and this land is so different to ours. Our land is one of chivalry and knightly honor and discovery through the means of courts and wizards. This land seems like you're performing in a play all the time. We don't have gods, per se. We don't have people pulling at the strings. Our fate is our own, so the idea of coming somewhere where everything is looked down upon as if it's a playground for adventuring. We were intrigued by it. We wanted something different.
I like this idea of fate being what you make of it. That is something I certainly agree with. But if the whole being part of a play here is something that you find a little odd, definitely maybe avoid Mesogaia. It is perhaps even more theatrical in some ways. Well, it's been a pleasure, and I will certainly join you for a few drinks. But I just wanted to come and say hello and I
appreciate it. And
make
yes,
acquaintance.
we would. I mean, me and my friend, we came to travel here and Midgard won on a coin flip. So
Where do you think you will go next?
home. I've seen enough of this place. It's a little too much danger for my liking. Things are simpler at home, but maybe I'll travel south afterwards in honor of my friend.
Is there anywhere in Athela that, if I were to travel there, that you may be one day? Is a place that you call home?
If you were to come and see me, I live on a small town called Tithmore.
Tithmore. I will keep a record of that, Ruse of Athela, in case I am ever in the area.
Yes. You'll find it just north of Camelot. It's a old ruin.
North of Camelot, no big deal. Cool. Nice. Yeah, I just wanted to get some cool lore on this dude. Like, I was like, yeah, Juno would absolutely go and speak to him. So, but yeah, I don't want to take up too much more time. So I'm happy to just sort of let it fall into casual conversation as they drink and rest. Okay. Yeah.
Well,
Cool.
does anyone do anything for your long rest, or do you want to rest up and level up?
Clean up.
Okay.
Clean up.
Yes,
Yep.
that as
To
well.
answer your bath question, they don't necessarily have bath houses, but they do have kind of all bathing areas which they've set up, and it's more just like filled tubs, and you can go and buy to get refills and whatnot with heated water.
Cool.
You would be able to wash up, rest up. Draven, you would have probably a peculiar night ahead, but one which would be an experience of your own. Maybe this is how you level up in truth.
Lay on hands got a whole new
Damn.
But you'd wake after the 8 hours, fresh the next day. It was late last night. Having long rested, you've leveled up. We're going to go ahead there and take our 5-minute break. So go ahead and stretch your legs,
Cool.
get a drink or whatnot, and we'll come back to the accusations of King Hrothgar. All right. I'll be right back.
Hell yeah.
Okay, chat will be unmuting in a minute. Just let them know. Okay. By the way, if you do make any fan art, I need to update this reel, but I'm going to be putting any fan art up here as long as you give me permission to. Let me know in the Discord if you post any fan art in the Discord and you don't want it to become fan art on this reel, just put on it, say, no, do not put my art there. Obviously, some of the art might not make it up if it's kind of just, I don't know, if you use a meme template or something, I don't know. Any new original art and stuff will probably find itself up there. All right, let me unmute for the gang and we'll get started again.
Definitely talked about his grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Oh,
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Okay.
This is fun.
Tomato, are you back?
Uh-oh.
It's okay.
What if he's
We can
trolling
start with.
You'll never know.
That's true. He probably could be trolling me. Well,
Just kick back, feet on the desk.
you
Chilling.
all wake up from a long rest. Draven,
My eyes are back to normal.
Your eyes back to normal.
Yep.
Draven, you'd wake up beside Thrud. And she looks at you.
Who's the big spoon? Who's the little spoon?
She'd probably be the big spoon, undoubtedly.
100%. 100%.
And she looks at you and goes, all right,
The biggest spoon.
get out then.
Yeah, okay.
And she remains a lot longer in bed. In a way, you've kind of strategically lowered her wrath for a little while.
Man.
Nice.
But the rest of you would wake up and head out if you wish so. You can see what is kind of fast becoming the final day of the festival here, as the hunting of Grendel was meant to be kind of the extended finale, and now people are winding down, packing their things, planning to leave. What would you like to do?
Meet up with everybody, I guess. Find each other.
Mm-hmm.
Breakfast first, and then chaos.
I'm going to get free food before I
Right.
do any accusation.
Okay. Sure.
You can get yourselves
Please.
whatever breakfast you need. Yeah, there'll be a lot of it going pretty cheap now, as people are getting rid of their leftovers and anything that might not sell for the rest of the festival. Some of it people are buying to travel off with, but for the most part, it's pretty cheap. So just go ahead and knock off each of you a few copper, 3 copper each.
Imagine eating.
Yeah, I know. I know. It's the thing that us humans and definitely not Lokis have to do.
What?
I think Juno would be like, look, like if Draven has joined us at this point, or if like as soon as Draven does join us, like Juno is like constantly like looking like examining his body, trying to see like if there's any like.
He definitely like laughs longer than he should after you say that.
Mm-hmm. How are you? Are you any injuries or
What do you
Have a
mean?
good night.
Yes.
We're rested.
Yeah, I slept
Any
great.
rest?
I don't need to sleep much.
Oh, then
Okay.
Yeah, I'm very durable. I'm not. My endurance is incredible. That's how I manage to have all of this armor consistently. I can heal any wounds that might occur on my body.
Really?
I can control what my fangs do, so I can even like if there's. It's why I find creatures. I can suck the blood from them and then restore myself. So,
Right. Wow.
yeah.
Interesting.
Okay. It's a lot about the world I still need to learn. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about the sex. That was great.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what it was.
Everything
Was
is
a big
interesting,
mistake, and you won't find out about that for years, possibly to come.
Wait, you went through that?
he went
absolutely.
to the room. I figured that, and she said, one
I
night.
didn't know where he went.
Yeah,
Well, she said one night. I figured that.
No one fucks a god without horrible tragedies following them everywhere they go.
Will
All right,
is
that's one thing I have
correct,
learned.
but I
have you
hope
ever done
nothing bad happens.
No, but I've heard enough stories of it. All right. Because the gods like to make jokes about it at this point, all right? It's a fun little thing they do as they compare all the horrible accidents that follow their various adventures.
Look, just because no one wants your wood doesn't mean you have to complain to me, Willoughby.
Oh,
Listen here, all right? There's nothing there. I wish.
you don't have
okay.
any.
It's
wait,
okay, Willoughby.
Hold on. There's not.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. We don't need to talk about
Wait.
it. Nothing?
But what, one. I mean, I assume that you have had mortal lovers. Yes, with mortal creatures before. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't. In a comparison, though, how different was it? Just because it's probably not something I'll experience, but I'm sort of very curious about
She
what
was
that
way
might
more
have.
durable.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay. Interesting. Were there any injuries that you've since healed, or
Yeah.
think? Oh, wow, okay. All right. I'll remember this. Wow. What an experience. Wow.
Oh, you're telling me. I'm glad we cleared out the rooms next door.
Oh right. Wow. Okay.
Good for you, Draven.
Yeah. Wow.
Let me assure you, you could hear it from across half the damn
I
building.
was
All right.
hoping.
I had
that
to
was
leave.
not a minor illusion. I promise you, that was all real.
Oh, I was keenly aware.
Ooh.
Draven, can I ask you something? Not
Yeah,
about
sure.
the sex, which I'm very happy for you was very good. The fang thing. Is that like always been a thing? Was it not always a thing for you and then it was like reborn with fangs?
There's a really,
later?
really big grin that comes across his face
With fangs or without fangs?
with bangs. It is a blessing that has been in my family.
From your grandfather?
Yes, he is the one that gifted this blessing to my father, and then it passed down.
I see.
Okay.
Oh.
I'm surprised my grandmother was okay with it.
Interesting.
It seems very useful. I don't.
You did mention your grandfather a couple times in that fight.
Yes.
A
You also said-
deal? He brokered a deal?
He and another had an agreement that granted me some boons in return for seeking a sense of justice.
Interesting.
Is not a sketchy deal?
Define sketchy.
A deal that involves
You're okay with
hurting
it?
innocents? Anything like that?
He's not innocent.
Your grandfather or the other?
The other.
The other.
Him. Neither, maybe his wife, depending. It's all messy. It's
I think
a
lot
love
of things
triangle,
are missing.
I suppose.
I don't want to make any assumptions, but from the sounds of things, the Asgardian gods aren't the only ones who.
Are a bit shit.
Yes.
Oh yeah, they're all shit,
Kind
top
of
to bottom.
terrible.
Mm-hmm. There were
I never
definitely.
said I was talking about gods.
No. True. That's why I said.
And
That's
they're not
just
all
people.
shit.
But that's
just a lot.
definitely.
Vast majority.
Like
Yeah.
99% of them.
Ekati is pretty wonderful.
She seems okay.
Yes, to answer your question, my grandfather gifted it to my father. And now it is just who we are. We are long-living guardians, in a sense.
Okay.
Is
Guardians
your
of the sands of
grandfather?
time.
Is your grandfather the one who, when you have that transformation, I saw certain elements. Is that connected to your grandfather or is that to someone else?
The liaison of death. No.
Oh,
That's the one that my grandfather brokered a deal with.
Ah.
A liaison.
Interesting.
Of death.
The powers of my grandfather. Those. And he starts to raise his hand and then catches himself. That's another day.
So I
Sure.
didn't mean to.
Sounds very...
I wasn't
Of
trying
the
to
mess.
try or anything. I just was curious.
But to clarify, for the Messagaians, right? Liaison of death?
Yes.
Okay.
Not your world.
No. There's,
Good.
from what I saw, yes, very much from our world. What I saw, what I think I saw. I'm not sure.
You know what? At that point, just because it's funny, Draven will take his form of dread again, and there's a figure cloaked in shadows where his blade turns into a scythe. His eyes become hollow, and there's almost like a skeletal visage that appears for a moment, and then drops it again.
That is very horrifying
Very intriguing.
and very interesting.
I'm pretty sure that's who I might see if I were to die, or something like them.
Well, not if you die here.
True. That's my hope, at least. I assume that once we cross over, I'm guessing that I guess that if I were to die here, it would be the gods of death here that would come and claim it.
We
Does
could
that
find
work?
out.
I'd rather not.
And I'm not done.
I meant by asking, not by killing. Just for clarification.
Okay, good. Yes, asking I'm okay with.
Interesting.
So, the king. Do we want to go and gather them now?
Sounds like as good of a plan as any, and I will say this, just in case things go south and somehow there's a horrible accident and most of us die, it has been a pleasure.
It has actually.
If we part ways after this, it truly has been a pleasure. I don't know what all you are doing after this, but it's been refreshing.
I personally don't have any plans. I was going to ask and see what the rest of you were going to do.
I think maybe before we go in, right? We can have a little chat about that.
Sure.
I find you, and I point at Draven, have the scary thing. You have the extra arms. I point at Juno. I look at Willoughby. You can turn into a small fish. And stars. Eldred has the bones and the black eyes. The torch that lights up without fire. It is an interesting group, I think.
You can not breathe, turn into a fish, use some
breathing.
magic.
Okay, I would like to just set the record straight on the breathing and the not breathing. I'm gonna look at Willoughby. Willoughby, I think you are very, very smart. That was terrible guess by you. I'm definitely breathing. Was I breathing in the water? No. Am I breathing right now? Yeah, like I still need to breathe. Like I'm breathing right now. It's just that when I am in the water and you'll see a slight flicker and the little scars on her neck kind of turn a little red and they open up like little gills and then they go away. It's just that in the water, I don't need to breathe, right? I can breathe in the water. I'm still breathing. It's not right. So.
Bummer. I thought we had another non-breather in this group.
No, I'm still breathing. I'm so
just
sorry
a
to let you
deceiver.
down. I'm still breathing.
What do you taste like?
Hang on. I'm gonna DM Joe.
A great response to that question. Hang on a moment. Let me ask the DM. What do I taste like?
I think I know what you're gonna ask.
I think you do too, because I feel like I asked it before. I just
Yeah.
can't remember the. Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
correct.
I'll hold out my arm.
Are you giving me? Can I?
I don't. Yeah, I don't.
You drink back.
Truly unsettling.
Yeah.
You've drank humans. You've tasted celestial recently. You've probably drank beasts and other creatures. This, you've not tasted this. It's different.
I like you.
Well, thank you. I like you too, Draven. So, again, right? We can all do
Are you hurt?
some things. No, me? No, it's fine. Draven, are you?
Huh?
He's acting all kind of jumpy. I think you gave him a taste for it, and I was gonna
I've never tasted
try
that
to go in
before.
for
I think he'll be
seconds.
fine.
Okay.
I'm going to trust that he's fine.
Well, he just said that he's never tasted anything like that before, and Draven has the look of a man with a very
He's probably tasted.
unique palate.
We haven't walked by anything he hasn't tried to taste.
My
to
mouth
be
is well
clear.
traveled.
Exactly,
That's
that's what I'm
new.
saying. A very well-traveled mouth, and you've never
Would
tasted.
agree, right? So,
So what were we doing?
yeah, I mean, we can keep chatting. We can go talk to the king. We can say that we will see what happens with the king and then we will travel on. I can tell you for my part, as you know, I was going to say I have no love for Thor, and one, that is very obvious, and two, I have a lot of hatred for him, which I think is probably also pretty obvious. And I'm very interested to see what is happening in the world at large. With them coming together, you were able to travel here. Maybe I also have traveled, and I would like to know what is happening and who is behind it, much like Willoughby. So I'm content to follow whatever clues I see. I've been traveling with Eldred for a while now, and I'm content to keep traveling.
Depending on the outcome of this next meeting, either way, I have some reporting I need to do to some higher-ups. And this has been a lovely forced detour for me, what with the gates closing. But I do need to return to Yggdrasil at some point to take care of all that.
Send a message.
It's a little bit outside of my reach.
You could hire a carrier.
I don't trust random postal service workers to handle anything I have to tell to any gods, unfortunately.
That seems fair.
Okay. Should we accompany you?
Oh, I was about to say, I was kind of hoping you guys would say yes, because frankly, I'm terrified to go back there by myself. I would love the backup.
I mean, seeing Yggdrasil, I've come here to see new things and to experience the world, and
Giant
I don't
tree,
have any
that's
plans. Yeah, that's a whole new thing. So I'm happy to just follow, kind of like Lena, see where you go. And I've not had many companions to travel with before, and I'd like at one point, there are a few other philosophers like myself. I'd like to maybe track them down and learn from them, but I'm in no rush to do that. I want to expand my own philosophy and my own wisdom. But to do that, I need to see the world. So I'm happy to go with you. And Willoughby, it sounds like this mission to uncover what happened is very important. And being a part of that, I would very much like to assist.
I've wanted to see Yggdrasil since I was a little girl. That would be nice.
Okay. Draven?
Right. Do you want to see
Sure.
the tree?
Not really, but I'll
Probably it tastes some of the sap or whatever. That might do it for you.
Awesome. Hot and sexy. Let's do it.
Okay.
I really don't care about a tree other than this one. And I point to Willoughby. But look, if that's the plan.
It's much
sure.
more than a tree.
I've heard that about people too, but they're all just people.
That's true.
To go and see Yggdrasil, would we get to see some of the other realms of this world? I know that this is just one, right? This Midgard, there are other places.
Yggdrasil is the connecting factor for most of the realms here. And it's in Asgard, the base of it, so we'd have to go to Asgard.
Oh.
To my knowledge, Joe.
Yeah, you are correct. Some of the realms are slightly closer, such as Alfheim and Svartalfheim are technically closer. But yeah, it's the connector, and the base does lie in Asgard.
Well, very exciting.
All right then.
Okay.
You guys just have to promise me, though, that if they try to get me to stay there again, you will help me kill any of them that try to stop me from leaving. Do you understand?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we can just sort of
to kill any god.
Like, they
Deal.
want you to, like, they would take you prisoner, you think? Or they just would be like, and now you're back at your old job, you can't go.
I considered my old job a prison,
prison?
to be clear. So if they try to stop me from leaving, I can't go back. I'm going in to wave and say, hey, I'm still alive and I'm going to get back
What
to it.
if-
But then say, hey, we replaced you. Someone else took your job. Come back. You need to help me get the hell out of there. I will not go back.
Can you just stand in a doorway or something? And I'm
That's kind of
joking.
what I was hoping is I'd kind of stand back and give you guys the information,
Yeah,
and
okay.
I'll
Okay.
stand
I'll
sort
take
of out of
a
reach of
message, That's
them.
fine.
What if we just
Okay.
pretend to be you?
Yeah.
I don't know if you could pull off the made out of wood look.
I use disguise self to make myself look like Willoughby. Is this better?
Is that how I talk?
Yes, it is.
We can workshop it.
pretty close. There's something a little bit off, but it's pretty close.
I use minor illusion to make Willoughby's voice.
Oh, that's really good. Yeah, that one sounds perfect.
That works for me.
I'll look at Draven. I'll look at Willoughby. You'll see my eyes turn black with a silver ring around them.
See what the hell is that?
Skin turns briefly pink. And then you see a version of Willoughby.
Another Willoughby.
And then I say,
I don't, you just can't make me stay there. Just give me the,
This is getting borderline.
give you
I
some
don't
messages
mind Thor, but he's not my favorite.
and it sounds, even though I can't do it, it sounds exactly like Willoughby. And then there's a sort of shiver,
Now you
and
gotta
then
take notes from her.
Okay, well, you know what?
right.
She's a demon or something. I'm just a...
Honestly,
Not
I'm
gonna
just
fix
rolling
that.
with it at this point because I'm pretty sure that's Loki. All right, I'm working with this.
Who's Loki?
I don't know. You give me all kinds of weird vibes. One of you is Loki. I'm positive of it.
You know what? I bet you 100 gold that one of us secretly has god blood in them.
I'm not taking that bet, but it's not me.
I think
I
the
mean,
thing
I
is,
definitely agree with that.
they have sex with so many people. We probably do all have. Do you know what I mean? Like
I
that's
thought
Everyone
No,
definitely has a
that-
little bit of
yeah.
god blood in
Is
there.
that how that works
Everybody's
here?
got a little bit of god blood. You know,
He may be, but not like direct lineages.
they have a lot of sex. I'm just saying.
Really? I go back to
Pretty
Jacob.
sure my parents are just mortal.
Yeah, but
no
maybe
more.
their parents. You don't know.
I'm
No,
pretty.
they
I
don't
know my
have-
grandparents, not them.
What about the
Maybe the
great-grandparents?
greats.
How well
Maybe.
did you know them?
I didn't. I don't. They died
Maybe,
before I was
maybe
born.
a great grandpappy was a total freak. You don't know.
It's. I mean, I will ask. I will ask mom and dad about that and see what they say. But sure.
Just write home. Dear mom and dad.
Dear mom and dad, did great grandpappy ever sleep
Was he
with
a freak?
a god or gods or goddesses? I don't know.
Multiple.
You might go back to
Multiple.
Juno's house, and as you walk in, you just see Zeus and Hera, and she's just like, parents, do you know any gods? No.
Don't know any gods. Yeah. Okay. This has been very nice, and I'm glad that we are getting to know each other. Do we want to go deal with the king?
Might as well get it over with.
Let's
I
get
just
this-
kind of pat my pocket where my money is. Like, yeah, okay, let's go.
One thing I did
Wait,
remember.
hold on. Did everybody get a pillow? They're nice. I'm just saying, take a pillow.
I just
before you
can't
go.
stop. You have to
She's
stop.
the pillow
stealing
thief.
These pillows.
Yeah.
Liberate
I
her.
took mine.
Yeah, see? She's a smart girl.
I did actually take mine because Elena did say that I should take it.
Did everyone
If
take a
you're
pillow?
leaving- I've got one, just the one.
That's okay.
Draven, did you take a pillow as well?
I
Everyone?
traded mine in for a fresh one because my
No,
little
I wasn't. I
Thank
thought I
you.
was gonna get away with taking Throughout's pillow.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's
It
true.
would smell like her. You could cradle it. At night.
That's weird. That is not the kind of relationship we have. We are
No,
merely sparring partners.
I believe that is not the kind of relationship you have.
That makes sense. One thing I did remember, actually, when we were looking into it, if the king does die, the land's promised to Beowulf. I remember we looked into it and we found that out when we were looking into it. There was if King Hrothgar dies, the land goes to Beowulf.
Where
so
even is this Beowulf?
That
Yeah, I
is
don't
so
know.
dumb because Beowulf did not even kill him. Land should go to us.
right, yeah, he just took off one arm and then left.
Wait,
we don't.
let's-
We killed the thing.
Okay,
We just get
idea.
one favor.
That's our
favor is
favor.
give us your
Yeah.
kingdom.
The favor is
You're a
we
murderer.
actually killed him. We get the kingdom. Also, your shit, and you hide. And probably she's going to kill you. But we get the kingdom. I don't want to run a kingdom. I'm just saying.
No, I don't want to run again.
No.
It seems like a lot of work. I don't
But
want to
dude,
deal with it.
I don't want to actually do it, but I want to have it and say I have it and then leave.
Sometimes
Just-
it's nice to just have things.
Yeah. I just thought that if because Thrud is probably going to kill the king. I just remembered it as we were as I was meditating, I was thinking back on all the things that we've learned, and I remembered that was something we discovered. So
Beowulf will take over if there's still a Herot standing.
yes, I guess that's the truth of it.
What a dumb deal.
Never mind. That's for nope. Not gonna say it because I do not trust you all to go off on a tangent of theorizing, but I will make a note of it for another day. Who do we want to be in the room for when we have this conversation?
King,
Prince, Dual,
advisor.
Prophet.
I'd like to see the prophet there just because he's so strange and
Sure.
he might have.
I'm guessing we want to bring. Well, I guess Thrud will want to be there when we confront them.
I'm not going to object at this point, honestly.
Okay. So those four and Thrud and us.
Cool.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. You heading straight there?
Yeah.
His hall is quieter today, as people are mostly just kind of spending off their final coin in the other halls, and there's nothing really in terms of attractions there. You'd see at the far end of the table, sat opposite his father, Hrothgar, is sat opposite the king, and they're both eating their breakfast. Guards lining up across the side of the hall, about 16 in total. All just waiting with their shields in hand, their axes, some leaning against poles and kind of pillars, talking and drinking softly, and no one drinking heavily here. You'd enter into the hall. Did anyone go and fetch Thrud?
Yeah. I knew it was gonna be me.
She comes with you, and when you enter into the hall, she sits at the back, pulls a chair out, kind of sits with it facing the opposite way, and just leans her arms over the top of it. She looks almost a little bit comedic at this point because she's way too big for the chair, but she kind of sits in it. You hear the kind of creaking of it. And she just looms, staring directly at Hrothgar, who's wipes his mouth and looks across.
Ah! Our friends have arrived.
Rathic kind of bows his head towards all of you. Ah, join us if you wish.
I might like whisper to Willoughby as we're moving, like, do you want to get all glowy to do your special?
Yeah, I was planning on it.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah, Willoughby is going to do a double move here. I'm going to both activate my Dragon Constellation, and I'm going to enhance ability for Wisdom checks.
Okay.
The lie detector has been activated.
The lie detector has literally been activated.
You kind of step into the room and you see he looks over towards you, Hrothgar, and he goes,
So, what are the heroes of Herod going to do now?
We were just talking about that this morning and making plans, but there were some things that we felt that we should come and speak with you about, King Hrothgar.
I imagine the favor. You've already got your ideas. Come, whatever is in my power. Try, let's get them bowls of soup, shall we?
Draven is going to focus on the advisor's reactions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dwell's not in here right now.
Okay, so he's not in there yet.
Nor is the prophet.
Okay.
Interesting.
I think I might say like, oh, is your advisor not here, King Hrothgar, and the prophet? Are they busy today?
Not busy. I imagine Dwell's just getting things sorted for the final day. And prophet sleeps in late hours. But I can wake him if you need him.
Yes, I think that these are important matters that the prophet should be aware of, and your advisor also. The nature of our favor might benefit having your advisor here.
Fetch them.
A couple of guards head off.
Of course.
They pour out bowls of food for you as well.
I don't know why I shouldn't be speaking. Juno's got a terrible charisma.
So.
I just default to it.
Your advisor was preparing for, you said the last day. Are there extra festivities? What do you do for the end of the festival? How do you wrap it up?
Oh, no, mostly,
And Rathic kind of takes over. It is on the final day. Or do whenever we have a festival. It's mostly just the logistics of getting people gone. A lot of the halls have started to clear out. The whole spoken coin is already gone by this point, so it's mostly just logistical circumstances more than anything else.
That Grendel, I tell you, you hear stories, and I was not really fully prepared, I think. We saw the attack and the giant arm and the whatever, right? And then you see something like that, and it's very it's troubling. It's very surprising.
Used to come every night, Father.
Every night.
Father, yes, for a while. Disturbed whenever they.
And did it attack every night, or it just like came and made that weird crying? That was horrifying.
I was a boy at the time, so I don't remember as much. I was very young. But Father, yes.
He just keeps eating it, and I know the stories. It would come in the dead of night alone. It'd grab the happiest among them. It didn't work that out for a while. It was lured by a great joyous
That's
circumstances.
awful,
Those who were celebrating, those who were feeling their best. To a point where my father decided to stop throwing the parties, stop throwing the festivals, and decided one day not to be held back by the lack of joy. And they called for a great bounty to be taken. The great Beowulf was the final one to come along, after many failed attempts.
I think that's part I don't really understand, and it seems like maybe you got the raw end of the deal here, because like Beowulf, what did he say? Like, I'll save you, but I want your kingdom. And then he didn't even do it. And now, like, that seems pretty unfair.
Hrothgar kind of turns his face towards you.
I offered him a favor, and he said he would love to carry on our legacy here in these great halls. Gift me Herot, he said. I shall make it the greatest kingdom of all time. I was drunk. In truth, I should not have done now. It is beyond my power to give out that. It goes against the blood of gods and our will to the gods. To give away our family's legacy, it's beyond me. It should never have been my decision. And yet I did it in drunken state.
It's beyond you, like it wasn't yours to give?
It is mine to give, but the gods bless us with these bloodlines of kings. We are the chosen. So, in a way, it was my sons and my grandsons and their sons. They just were not born yet. I was giving away their future. Also, some alcohol.
Have you had much contact with Beowulf since they performed the deed?
Beowulf went off to further adventures in the north. After he went after the mother, he went all the way north to Utgard. He now rules over a great castle named Unharness.
What happened with the mother?
I don't know, because the day that I gave Beowulf the entirety of the kingdom, he left the following morning, and has never once stepped foot back in Herot. Yet, it is his by right. As if a stranger.
Father, drink your soup. It's fine. Old wounds.
God, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to stir it up. I just...
Oh,
It is a part that is hard to understand, you know.
it is my greatest regret.
Is the advisor and Dewal and the prophet arrived yet, or are they
they'd be
still
arriving during this conversation, yeah, and Dwell would kind of step in and what do you need me for?
Sit! Join us!
The prophet kind of goes and sits on his own table near yours and just kind of sips
You know,
of
I have
water.
another question, if you don't mind. So, you know, you decided to have the festivals anyway in Chance, the Grendel. How did you know, Eltred and I have been traveling together for quite a while now, and we heard rumors that, you know, well, it was announced, right? You announced it, that there would be gods here and you know, one from each side. It's like, what gave you that idea? Did you really hope that you could hear Herod broker some kind of peace between the realms, and that he would be able to stop whatever, you know, war may be coming?
Yes. In the sort, our prophet here has never been wrong. Sometimes the gods reach out to him and show him visions. Prophecies. I believed that they would look upon me favorably for arranging such a thing.
Yes, that makes sense. I'm gonna look at the prophet. Do you know, it would be really great, right? As if you could have a vision, a prophecy, or whatever, of which side would win. Like if you knew, oh, the Mesogaians would win,
His head turns to you and he
or
says,
or we would win.
never have I ever had a prophecy fail on me. Yet, here I do. It is as if the Norns don't hear me. It is as if everything is fake in this world. The gods should have arrived together to meet. Why have I been forsaken
Hrothgar kind of tells you, he's been a bit upset at himself, or, well, look, not every scam artist is successful. He guessed a few small-time prophecies, and he got the big one wrong. The prophet just shakes his head. Oh, no. Calm down. It is not a big deal. A wrong prophecy. Who cares?
Can I insight roll on this? This is giving me a weird vibe. Like
I'm getting weird vibes from everybody. Like the king's being weird, Trethic's being weird, everyone's being fucking weird.
Who would you like to insight check?
I want to insight Hrothgar. Like basically saying like this is
It's not a big deal.
It's no big
So that was a 17. It's the best I'd had.
You can see by his expression, it more comes from a place of kind of skepticism towards prophecies in general and the prophet's ability to call upon prophecies. It's kind of a denier of fate. So he's almost frustrated by the prophet acting as if his prophecy not coming true means there's a greater purpose at power.
Okay.
I'm sorry that that this one didn't work out for you. Is it okay? I'm curious about prophecy. Is it a case of like they just come to you unbidden, or do you communicate somehow with something? Like, can you ask about things?
No.
This is very
I am
interesting.
a vessel for them. They never came to me upon calling. I remained a glass to be filled with not water, but thoughts and dreams. Never before have they lied.
Draven lets out a very exasperated sigh. That is so very poetic. But, and he looks at everyone, not, why, where, here.
No,
Just
it was
before-
Sorry, go ahead.
This is a question for Joe, so if you want to, I'll do something in character, do that, and then I'll ask Joe something.
You're right, it's not why we're here. I just am interested that I've got to be honest. I'm going to sort of like lean on the table a little bit. If I had the prophet who could tell me what was going to happen, that would be pretty great, right? I could be prepared for everything. I would know what was going to happen, and I could make sure that I was on the right side of things. And then, you know, I'm gonna look at the king. It just would be really hard if then my prophecy was wrong and what I had planned didn't work out.
He's just staring at his soup, drinking, and with a spoon just pouring it into his mouth. You see Hrothgar look across you and say, paid no heed. It's not a big deal to have a prophet who got a few things right in his past. He gets a prophecy every years go by. It is not a big deal. The reality, you see the king look up and go, you're insulting the gods by questioning the prophet. I am not. It is an insult to the gods to even pretend that he knows what they're thinking. This is not how they work. The gods do not care about giving us visions. They give us truth whenever they need to. And quite frankly, the gods are beyond us. They don't need to give us truth here in Herot. We drink, we party. What of use is that to the gods? The fact that Ruse come here is already a blessing on the halls alone.
Question for Joe.
Yeah.
Would I know roughly how old Beowulf would be? Was he older? Would he be about the same age as King Hrothgar, or is he young?
He was younger than
Younger.
King Hrothgar.
Mm-hmm.
Hrothgar said he was a young boy, so for Beowulf to be of kind of adult age, at least 18 to 20 or so, when dealing with Grendel, would make him kind of in his early 50s.
The way the note was written that we found on Brulder with that slightly shaking hand, is it possible that that could have been written by somebody Beowulf's age, or are we looking at somebody a bit older and a bit more infirm for the
A little
way
bit
it was-
older. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I think like I'll look at Draven. Juno, sorry, will look at Draven and sort of like kind of nod as he's saying like this isn't why we're here. And I'll look at the team. Well, should we discuss some of the things that we came to speak with the king about?
Oh, yes.
I'll nod at the rest of the party to sort of keep a watched eye. I'm going to focus on the king, like the king's reaction. Juno would maybe sort of like... Before we discuss favors, there was something we found in Grendel's cave. A note, in fact, that we think is of great importance to some of the other matters happening here in Herot. And I'm going to let that just sit for a minute. And I want to give everybody a chance to kind of look at the reactions of the assembled team.
So who's staring at who? Because you won't be able to focus on more than kind of one person's reactions at once. So if you're inciting those,
Willoughby would be looking at Hrothgar right now.
I'm looking at advisor.
Okay.
King for me.
Anyone left besides the prophet?
You can double up on someone if you prefer.
Yeah, I was going to say doubling up in case
I'd look
we
at
get
the
low
king.
rolls.
I'd be watching.
Yeah,
the king.
I'm pretty confident being able to do one properly. So if you want to double up on someone that
Yeah.
not
If you're going to get the advisor, maybe Brizzy.
Yeah, I'll get the advisor.
I think the prophet. I don't think the prophet's.
No, I
super
just
high.
want
I'll give you a
doesn't
freebie
have
here. The
eyes.
prophet is very hard to read. He is kind of just staring
He's
into
got
nothing.
twigs
and
in his
looking at
eye.
it.
man.
He's
Yeah.
Yeah. Watching advisor.
All right.
The king.
A note? About what?
Oof,
Well,
and
the
for me.
26 on Hrothgar.
Yeah, I'll do my insight on the
Yeah, go ahead and roll your insights.
23 on the king for me.
22
Mine's
on
the
advisor.
10 on the king.
Okay. The advisor is smiling, and his eyes are flittering between each of you, curiously. Hrothgar is kind of biting into his bread and dipping into his soup, and hasn't really taken much notice by the kind of topic coming up. The king is... He looks up to you. He's put down his food for the first time, and you see a... What did you roll again? 23.
23.
You see him very slightly gulp.
It's interesting. This
I'll nod
note
at the team.
that we found.
Willoughby's laser focused on the king now.
Again, I say that it would be nice to have a prophet in my pocket as I was trying to make choices, and I wonder. And I'm gonna look at Thrude very pointedly, and then I'm gonna look at the king.
You can see in the background, Thrude has had a batch of apples, and she's just been using a knife to skin each of them, and then put the uneaten apple on the end of the table. And she's done to about 4 of them so far, and she's just slowly skinning them one by one to the nerves of like the guards nearby. Just watching.
It's
Maybe I should read the note for
Interesting.
the king.
I wonder what I would have chosen if I thought that Mesogaya was going to win the war. What would I have done to protect my own lands here, not in Mesogayan territory? And I take the note out of my bag.
Mesogaya is none of our concern, he'll inherit. We follow the gods here.
Do you want to read it, Elena?
Interesting.
Or should I?
Hrothgar wipes his mouth and goes, "You got to deal with a lot of hypotheticals. What is your lining of
It
reasoning
was
here?"
more. Yes, it was more setting the stage to ask a few questions of your father about this note that we found. I'll hand it to Juno if you would like to read it.
We discovered this along with... I'll hold up the vial of Aether Drop. Upon my word as king, and promised king of the lands beyond Herot, from the corners of the Mirkvior forest all the way to the northern reaches of the Ironwood and east of Friesville, the lands known as the Fen will be granted to Brulder, son of Danri, to rule over as a lord. His land will be given the full respect of any lord from the day of Mesogaean victory all the way until his final blood falls, by the grace of King Hrothgar, king of all the southern reaches. I'll just hold the vial up.
I think I saw a little laughing. What is that nonsense? You don't know that's lands. What is this note? Hrothgar, I did not write that.
I'm gonna insight that. 24.
Really?
His eyes flicker up and down the table, and you see beads of sweat gathering the sides of his head, and it is not hot.
It's quite a gamble.
Can I use divine sense just to confirm that there are no other unnatural creatures here?
You can indeed.
Yeah.
You get the celestial feeling coming off of Thruth.
Yes. Don't pause like that, Joe.
And you get an essence coming off of Dwell.
Fucking knew it.
Is it a
smiling
fiend?
at us?
Celestial.
Oh, it's celestial. Oh, fuck.
You know who it is.
It's very, very interesting here that, again, I understand the desire to want to protect my land, but what made you so sure there would be a Mesogaean victory, King Hrothgar?
I've never seen that note before in my life. How dare
It's
you come
written
into
in
my
your
home?
hand, King Hrothgar. Right now, we are the only thing stopping a very unpleasant end.
How dare you?
Tell us what happened.
You dare come into my home?
Ratha kind of leans and goes, "This is extremely.
Do you know your
extremely-
father's handwriting?
You would recognize it, wouldn't you? Come.
You are
Take a
accusing my father of more than treason."
Take a look.
He takes the note. "I will read this out of respect.
Rethik, we have no reason to deceive you here. We didn't want it to be true. We wanted to only find the truth.
I do not believe you. There is no chance that
I know.
this is my father's."
We also believe that he may even have a supply of the milk that was used to stop the poison. We had to go and find it, but we think that there may be a supply here, kept from us.
You cannot believe this, my boy. Have them arrested and sent out of here. I'll let them live. Because they killed the Grendel, but...
Father. And if someone has learned to mimic your writing exactly, this is your hand.
Then that is what happened, my boy. Someone has framed my writing.
He looks to you as a group. I'm gonna let one of you roll a persuasion check with advantage. However you wish. It's gonna go up against his father, who also has advantage.
+6.
I'm not getting involved.
You can roll. You were talking to them more.
Okay. 20?
Okay.
He looks across you as a group.
30.
I'm sorry, but it is unlikely that someone did that, Father. If you have honor, you would speak now. You hear Thrud laugh at the back of the room, which angers him. Hrothgar's face goes from a desperate old man to quite a cruel scowl.
And so what if I did? So what if I did? I had hoped it would be her father. I had hoped he would come, and I would see him choking to death in my halls and know it was me. For all those times, I prayed to him, someone that we have sacrificed to through festivals for years. In this hall, my father, through festivals to Thor, for years after years. And yet, in my desperate hour, when a drunken foolish mistake I asked just to care about family for this moment, and allow me my halls back to make Beowulf's fucking Beowulf, and make him have no legal ground on my home. Every time he ignored me, I threw a party of the festival just to gain any sight of him. And do you know what worked? In my most desperate hour, I made one prayer elsewhere. And do you know where that was?
Looks directly at you, Juno and Draven.
Ares.
Ares. And Ares. I made one sacrifice. One. And he spoke to me.
Of course he did.
Just one calling after years of trying with Thor. And he offered me so much more. The lands out of Maxwell Forest. Up to the Iron with all of these lands mine. All I'd have to do is kill a god. One who had betrayed me.
Ethics is finished.
I would kill Thor. I would do it. And then when I heard he wouldn't even show his... He couldn't even show his face in the hole that had served him for years. And he was sending a daughter.
You know what's sad? You complain about him not showing. But he sent one of the most important things to him here. And you still disregard it as a gift.
That deal rid my son of his future. So I wanted to rid his daughter of hers.
You've got one chance, King. You gave away your kingdom for a favor once. We could give it back to that rightful heir. If that's all it takes. In your land's honor and codes and oaths. You owe us one favor too.
It's not mine to give anymore. I'll give you anything within my power.
Do you have a will?
I don't care how strong she is. I'll call this entire hole.
And you'll condemn a hole. Do you have a will? If not, you should get to writing.
The guards start uneasily kind of going for their swords, like grabbing the hilts.
I wouldn't do that.
One so he starts drawing, and Thrud starts leaning towards a hammer, and Hrethic says, "No. I won't see the entirety of the whole killed. The mistakes of one. Father, you betrayed Thor. You betrayed all the guards. When you spoke of peace, you said, I thought you were being truthful. You would put an end to the violence. Yet you just wanted to fuel this war even more.
I think don't. do it.
It is a really hard thing to pray and reach out in despair and anguish and want nothing more than to get any sign, any response, no matter how small, that someone has hurt you and that they recognize your pain, that they recognize your regret over a poor decision. And I am sorry for you, King Hrothgar, that you had to go through that. I truly am.
Rethik stands up.
All of you leave the hall.
He looks to the guards. You see them kind of looking towards King Hrothgar.
I'm not your king. But you get to decide here. Where does your loyalty lie? To the gods or to my father? Trust me. One is not a blibbering old man. Pulling his strings that he does not belong. Does not deserve. Be glad that the prophecies are not right, Father.
You see him look up.
Son, don't.
I'm sorry. I would defend you from anything. But from the gods I cannot. And he walks out of the hall. And the guards follow. Dwal stands up and says,
Well, that was enjoyable. But I think it's probably past time that I go.
Which god are you?
Wilby looks.
Yes, you. I know you're a celestial. I can feel your blood.
I take the coin out of my pocket.
I insight nat 20.
And he really does. It's just there. Willoughby, the old laser eyes.
You, Willoughby. You don't see the reaction of Dwal. You don't see an expression on his face that matches the man you've seen a few times here. You see an expression that you've seen elsewhere. An expression you've seen from afar and observed. It's almost like the face is scrawled up to not behave the way it naturally should. It is making a grin in the manner of Loki.
He was Loki, not all of you.
I take the coin and I put it on the table. And I look at the wall.
Loki a big shot or something.
After prayer, request after request, unanswered. It hurts a lot.
He looks
And I
towards you,
put the
Elena.
coin back in my pocket.
Says,
Go pray to Mr. Gang God about it.
Yeah.
and then dimension doors out of the room. And through leans us, crossing us. Well, shall we?
Yeah.
I get up. I push my chair back. I get up. And I just shake my head and walk out.
Going with Lena.
I still owe you a favor. Anything. But I cannot grant the favor if I'm dead. You would not kill an old man who made a mistake.
I won't kill an old man who made a mistake. but I won't save an old man who would doom an entire town. And I'll walk out with Lena.
Joe, while this part's happening, right after Loki Dimension Door out, Willoughby would switch from using enhanced ability to locate object to whatever Loki was wearing.
Okay.
To make sure where they go.
Okay. How far is locate object does it
Locate object is 1,000 feet, so double whatever Dimension Door can do.
Okay. You can see it's moving pretty rapidly. And within maybe 2 seconds, it's already away again. But it didn't feel like it was teleportation. It felt like you felt it 500 feet away, and then hundreds of feet. In a few seconds, it managed to travel before disappearing out of your range. You see,
could I operate on the assumption right off of that there is a planar, like a portal around this area that Loki used to travel extremely quickly away from here?
It wasn't a portal. It wasn't an instant 500 feet there and then gone. It was
like he ran or like moved at a super high speed.
King Hrothgar stands up. He starts moving up and he's scrambling for anything. He grabs like a fork off the table and he holds it, and Thrude smiles, steps up, begins dragging her maul behind her. You hear as it scrapes, even a scratching sound along the wood.
I understand being disappointed by a god betrayed. Your life ruined. But if you're going to try to stand up for them, stand against them for it, you have to be willing to die for it.
His desperation looks up.
Ares, you promised me. Now's the time. Yes.
She gets closer and closer. She turns her head towards you and goes, if any of you don't want to watch, now's the time. She lets go of the maul. Walks over to him. Grabs him by the shoulders. He pleads with her. She pushes her whole hand down into his throat.
Does he have a crown?
Yeah, he has. It wouldn't be on him right now. It'd be on the kind of shelf nearby.
I'm gonna go put it on and sit in this chair and watch.
And she chokes him before tearing out his tongue. Blood pouring out his mouth. And she squeezes the life out of King Hrothgar at the base of his throne. The prophet sits silently in the corner, staring at the ground. And when she's finally done, she drops him. Good. I tell you, revenge does not feel satisfying, but I felt pretty satisfied there. I don't know where you're going next, but you can walk me to the gate if you like. And she walks over towards her maul, lifts it, and walks out of the hall.
I don't want anything else to do with her.
Juno would hurry after Lena, trying to catch up with her.
I'd walk in the direction Lena went.
Where are you guys heading to? Are you leaving Herot?
I just got out of the room anywhere, and when I just kind of sat against a wall.
I'm gonna loot the king.
Hands.
Good.
You can keep his crown. And
I think Willoughby would have, using Loki, having like sensed where Loki teleported to, he would navigate to there to try to see if there was any evidence to what happened after that.
you navigate outside. You seem to move extremely fast, getting away from the area. Hard to say.
Do I see any animals around?
No animals in the general kind of field area, other than kind of grazing animals, which are kind of like cows and whatnot.
Hey, see what happened to him? What happened to that guy? He just casually says that at a random cow.
You speak with animals?
Yes.
Okay. A cow looks up to you and says, he appeared in the sky and then ran very fast that way. Kind of head, his head
Wow.
north.
Still in the sky.
In the sky.
Can we adopt this cow?
I want this cow to be our new best friend.
Right. Well,
We don't
There's
need
lots.
horses.
And
Oh,
you're
good cow.
welcome. Thanks for asking. And goes back to David.
Do you want to go on an adventure, cow?
He sounds like Grog. I want to come up with like a cow-based Grog name. Like, hello, my name is Grog Strong Milk. I don't know.
So, before we wrap up, where are you going now? Are you going to stay in Herot for a little while? Are you going to journey northward now?
I think Willoughby wants to go. I mean, aside from maybe stopping by Spring to drop off that one thing.
The Grendel blood.
Yeah.
What? Grendel blood.
Willoughby's got
Spring's already left.
stuff. Okay, well then,
okay.
in that case, Willoughby would want to go to Asgard to cross that off his list so he can rest a little bit easier.
Okay.
Sure.
So,
Yeah, I
yeah.
want to leave.
leaving all together, stepping out into Herot and back onto the fields that lead northward, almost as if you're... The kind of air outside and the sun beating down is almost as if you didn't just witness a king being murdered up in the hall. On your way out, you would have seen people gathering in party, not realizing. Rethik and his soldiers have kind of moved on. And the peaceful lands around Herot remain peaceful. And you continue walking your way towards the gates. Thrud would be waiting for you, Draven. And she'd walk alongside you and say, up to the gates at least, and then I'm on my way.
Deal.
Walking beside your group. Previously, you were a party by convenience. Now, one by choice. And so, you head north to begin your journey in the land of Midgard. And that is when it starts raining.
I will say that as Thrud joins,
sorry,
Lena slows down.
Just because this is the epilogue of this episode. It starts raining. And clouds start forming in the sky. And then it starts raining hard. And pelting it down. And you can hear lightning and thunder illuminating the sky. As the rain pours down you, Thrud looks to you, Draven, and says, I thought on what you said. And when I prayed to my father this morning after you left, I told him. And he agreed. People are power. People are faith. And that why should many innocents die for the sake of one person? But my father does not think the same way I do. Because as much as he agreed with that, he also said, they tried to harm my youngest. And he did not take kindly to that. And she smiles. And you see there's less empathy in those eyes as she walks past you towards the gates. The rain pouring down, lightning crackling in the sky, thunder. And over Herot, briefly in the distance, you can see chariot, goats at the front, flying through the sky, briefly illuminating the shadows in the cloud, before all lightning strikes down on Herot Hall. 1, 2, 3, continuous fires blazing out as lightning continuously strikes in one place. The halls of Herot burn in an instant. And that is where we will leave tonight's episode, with the Wrath of Thor.
Yeah.
Could have been way worse, to be honest. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yep.
Yeah, at least we weren't in it still.
Yes,
Well,
that
that's
is
one
true.
favorite by Frood.
Yeah.
But there you go. Having completed the Herot portion of the campaign, essentially the tutorial, you are a party now. And you've seen what the gods are capable of. You've seen what demigods are capable of. And you've seen what mortals are willing to give up. But there is much of this world to still explore. And as you head out northward, we'll see where you go to on our next episodes of Mistletoe. So, thanks everyone for playing as per usual. Glad to have you back after our week break. Let's go ahead and do some shout outs and see what you're doing this week. Let's go ahead and start with you, Mark.
Actually, it's a good point. There will be an episode. I won't be around next week because I'm going to be at TwitchCon in Amsterdam. We're there. I'm going to be there from Friday, unfortunately, which means no Mistletoe for me. But on Saturday, we're doing a live show at TwitchCon, which means that we're actually going to be kind of previewing the very next High Rollers campaign. It's going to be on Twitch as well, so it's going to be on the main Twitch channel. It's gonna. I think it should be on front page and stuff. But yeah, we're going to basically do like a little prologue. So because the next campaign's probably still it's going to probably start next year, but because this is like a big show, we wanted to kind of use it as a chance to kind of introduce people to the world. So come and watch that. It's going to be the preview of the next campaign setting for High Rollers at TwitchCon. It's going to be a live stage show. We got a couple of special guests with us as well, so come along and watch that. It's going to be fun.
Is that Saturday? Yeah, the Saturday.
Saturday, I think it's like 2:15 Central European time, which I think is like 1:15 UK time, and I don't know what that is in other world times, but it's probably very early in the morning. But it should be available on VOD. I think we're going to put it up on the High Rollers channel as well, so you can come and check that out there. But if you want to watch live, Twitch about 2:15, 1:15 on next Saturday.
That sounds awesome.
Thanks, man.
Are you High Rollers this Sunday as well?
No High Rolls that Sunday because we're still going to be in Amsterdam. So no High Rolls this Sunday. So we're going to be doing that instead.
No, I mean this Sunday. This Sunday.
Oh, this Sunday. This Sunday, yes. This Sunday, normal High Rollers. So you can come and watch High Rollers D&D. That's my other D&D show that I'm the DM for. So.
OG.
Well, I'm not going to be in Amsterdam for TwitchCon, but I will be at a wedding. So that's exciting. Also, it's not my wedding, which makes it way more exciting because I'll have to show up and like eat food and stuff. So that's pretty cool. That's what I'm doing next weekend. I feel like we should all just say what we're doing next weekend. Like, I kind of like that. So yeah, that's my plans for next weekend. I'm going to go to my cousin's wedding. It's going to be fucking awesome.
Nice.
Next.
Tomato.
Oh, just doing what I usually do, gaming. Me playing some fucking Minecraft. You can't get enough fucking Minecraft. You fucking love Minecraft, my guy. Fuck yeah, dude.
Amazing.
His channel, Tomato, on Twitch.
I could
Rizzy.
see your face in my head that whole time.
I don't know what I'm doing next weekend. Maybe I'll go dog beach or something.
Nice.
That also sounds awesome.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
I feel like my next weekend rubbish now.
But...
Like a dog beach in Minecraft.
BRB.
And yeah, I don't know. Brizzy voices on all the things. Hey.
Awesome. Gabe.
I panicked. So I'm going to write a diss track and then challenge Brizzy to a rap battle next weekend.
No.
Nice.
Too bad I'm so busy at the dog beach. Oh god.
Well, you know what? You better use that time on the dog beach to write some bars because you all heard it here. Gabe James Games, Brizzy Voices. I'm gonna make some graphics. We have fake beef now. We have
Nice.
bars.
Spoken into existence.
Next week's episode's gonna have drama in the title.
With the like
Rap
the
drama.
red
images. Yeah.
Well,
Eldred, Eldred.
Go and follow everyone here, please. For me, probably Godforge on Sunday, 8:30 p.m. BST, just after High Rollers. So if you could have a little break after High Rollers and come watch some Godforge.
It's the perfect day.
Perfect day. Other than that, there's a Discord where you can go and post any images or anything that you've drawn or memes or anything you want, or just talk about the episode. If you look in the channel, I think someone will probably post that. If not, I can post it afterwards. And if you want to see any of the behind-the-scenes stuff, as a GM notes and whatnot, I post it all on my Patreon, so !Patreon for that. Other than that, though, we shall be back next week. You should be missed, Mark. You're a busy man over the summer, and I feel
I'm
bad.
so
that you've missed
sorry,
so...
dude. It's
no, I
just
feel
like
bad that you've missed
every
so
other
much.
week, it's something going on. But yeah,
No, I always feel bad.
Have
calm
a
down.
life, whatever.
Normally I don't. That's the thing. I normally don't. This summer has been a nightmare,
you're
but
killing
yes.
It is all good. No, I feel bad that you're missing some. But we'll catch you up the following week, no problemo. So we'll
Let's get
see you
eaten
all
by a frog
next week.
again.
True. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
I'll make it a absent
Weekly
happen
occurrence.
every
occurrence.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whenever I'm away, Juno gets eaten by a frog. Nice.
Thanks everyone for coming out. We appreciate it. We'll see you all next time. Much love and catch you next Friday. Bye bye.
Bye.